Oh, hey, what's going on? Let the women that typically don't watch this show but are in the background yelling at you that's too loud and some guy's swearing over there. Let them know Happy Mother's Day. Thank you very much. Also, too, Wasting is out of suspension. And this is why, if you look at how light it is back here, we read a novel and see this little thing right here. I got something planned for Wayseeker. I'll tell you that.
A bookmark?
This is why, yeah, but there's a reason why I got a bookmark.
I read that book like 6 weeks ago. So you're gonna have to carry that one. I have the slides, but man, you took like 7 weeks to read that book. So
hey,
I forgot what's in it.
All of us sit at home and watch reruns of The Blue Bear. Some of us actually go to a celebration as true Star Wars fans. We have life outside of this that we do.
I don't understand
another country and came back. And
I don't understand how anything in life is more important than Blue Bear. Like that's right up here, and then everything else is way down here.
Yeah, hey, this is Wayseeker's life: Blue Bear, book reports, and then everything else. I don't get it, man. Like grown men wanting book reports is ridiculous. What else? Oh, hey, so we're gonna do a special for Mother's Day. It's kind of something we're gonna start running on from now on. But this one is we're gonna focus on mothers. This one's a Mother's Day edition of Star Wars, where we're gonna do mothers that we like, but not like the key books. We're gonna get into some other books and stuff like that, and maybe storylines that you don't hear. It's not gonna be like we're not gonna do like Leia. Right, we're not just gonna do Leia and who was the other one? Dom said, "Oh, Amidala." I mean,
nominate all mothers that die.
Yeah,
or a horrible. Every one of them.
Yeah.
One turns to the dark side. They die.
I think Leia
they're killed by their son.
We're gonna do some mothers, maybe, but like we're gonna do other things. It's not gonna be like a key one, and that's just gonna be this one. We'll do other ones further on with different topics, but see how that goes. Leave comments.
Mom relationship issues. That's what I've picked up. So,
to be fair to Dom, though, a lot of moms die in Star
Wars. That is true. That's true. That is true. So you got a point there. So we're gonna cover some of those, just three quick ones. But show you some books around there, talk about some of their stories, and maybe why we like those moms. What's up, moms? Oh wow, that could have gone the wrong way. We could have gone. Well, you can't.
Just stop now.
I was about to do the MI, but you can't do it. I was trying to figure out the thing. Yeah. That could have gone sideways. I'm actually glad Dom's not here right now. Dom's working late. Maybe he'll be here. Maybe he won't. Also, too, we have to talk about Andor this week. It will not be spoiled. Hey, spoiler alert! It won't be spoiler free. I don't know what happened on the thumbnail. We had a quick edit there.
Spoilerific.
Spoilerific is probably what that thing should have said. We'll get to that a little bit later. We'll leave that to the end or close to the end because, wow. Yeah. And we're also hoping that Dom's there too because
he had some interesting theories that aren't coming through. That's all I know.
Well, I'll tell you this. I thought it was very possible that one of them, it sounded plausible at least, but anyways. GTK Comics, hi, thumbs up. Sunday Dark Side Crew, taking all things Star Wars. Man, I didn't put a contact in my left eye. I can only see out of one eye right now. It sucks.
Just blink.
Yeah, I can't see out this eye. I can't see anything. Everything's blurry. I can't.
You're just gonna wink at us and be like, "Is he saying that, or is he winking because he's not? He doesn't really mean that." Like,
no. Oh, who?
You. You have one eye.
I was trying I was trying to see because I'm like, why is it blurred? Star Wars, does it get any better than that? Cheers. Yeah. Hey, sun's out, so the guns aren't lately. By the way, I should have thrown it in there. Caught a 16-inch bass the other day. Back to fishing again. Dark Side Sunday with the crew.
You use your new Japanese equipment?
Yes, I did. But I'll tell you later. Took tonight off to be with the wife. Y'all have fun. And I'll catch you on the. Aw, cool. Good for you. I'll tell her Happy Mother's Day even tomorrow. Hopefully you did something nice. Listen, if you're married or if you have a mom, I think Mother's Days are more important than birthdays, right? Birthdays should celebrate the mom.
Call your freaking mothers on Mother's Day for crying out loud.
Yeah. At least say it to
them. Call your freaking mom.
Yeah, do something. Do something nice for her. I got my mom a Quidditch.
Do something.
You know what a Quidditch is?
No.
Harry Potter?
Yes. It's like this thing. It's like a ball with wings. I know what it is now. Got my mom a Quidditch from Harry Potter World, like when I was in Japan. She loves it. Thumbs up high. Meyer, what's going on? My friend just gave me a copy of Sandman Volume 1, the Absolute Edition, told me it would change my life. LOL.
That's too much, I think. But
I don't think it'll change
The
your
only
life.
problem is you're 3 volumes short of finishing the story, or 2 volumes.
Yeah. The problem with it is there's some volumes that aren't so great in that. Isn't volume 1, does that cover?
That's through like Dollhouse and everything.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, so there's some good. Is that the one where they go to the where they get the one with the kids, this creepy part? There's some messed up stuff in that, Meyer.
Like Dead Boy Detectives, I think that's volume 2.
Okay. I think I saw a blue pelt. Rug. Thank you, Dwayne Scott. Easter egg in the safe in the safe house in Andor. I think you did.
That's a good one.
Hi, everyone. Andor episodes were wizard. Thank
Yes,
you,
they
Mr.
were.
Appleman. They were
Yep.
really good. The Last of Us is cooked. Is it? JJ, I think it thinks it is too.
I
think
kind of agree with that.
It's
Yeah,
not
I
good.
mean, I don't know. I haven't been on top of that.
It's going the
as
way
much.
I expected the second season to go because of events. I don't
maybe
want to
it's in
spoil it
there.
for anybody that hasn't watched.
Is
Oh,
it
yeah,
not
it might
following
be
the
in there.
game correctly?
No, it's yes and no. They had some deviations that kind of didn't make a lot of sense, but maybe they will later in the season. I don't know.
Interesting.
Happy Sunday, Darksiders, and of course, I called my mom today. Any moms listening, happy Mother's Day to you. The last episode was okay. Okay, cool. Wire. Hey, I did mail something out earlier in the week, so hopefully one of the people that won things here got it. You boys haven't got dick though, because I haven't sent anything to you guys yet. So good luck. Wait for that. Maybe it'll come by Christmas.
Probably not.
I almost forgot.
This
After
time
I
next year,
mailed the
we're
one,
like, "Oh,
after I
yeah."
mailed the one to whoever won,
Celebration,
I forgot about everything else. I literally just
Celebration
forgot about it.
2027.
It's like,
we'll get
I gotta
I
go
was
catch-
over here going, why
I
is
gotta
this
go
shit
catch
sitting over
fish.
here?
That's what I gotta do. Sorry.
Hey, I'm putting some of them up at the con this weekend too, so I might be selling yours. I don't know.
I'll get my Visions pin when by the time Visions is canceled or something.
Shit. Oh, that's
You
what
should
this
try to
is right
sell
here.
that
Here it is. Here's your Visions pin.
You should try to sell your nub sticker. I bet you $10,000 you put on it and somebody will buy it.
Did I get a nub sticker?
I thought that's what you got me.
Wayseeker, I'll be
Was it
honest,
nub
out of
something?
everybody's
I
shit,
can't
I
remember if it
can't
was
find
sticker
where
or
your
what.
stuff is at all.
You did get me a nub sticker.
Well, I might have got it for you. Might not have it anymore.
It was so in demand, he sold it.
He did.
Feverish demand for nubs.
There's huge
Probably
demand.
got thrown out. All right. What do you guys want to do? You want to talk about comics this week? Because we got that number one finally. I want to hear you guys' opinion on that.
Comics, yeah.
Let's
Yeah,
get to comics real quickly. All right, Star Wars comics. There's that Gabriel Delato 1-100. Did you guys see this one live? Because
No.
Pete brought up a good thing, and he said that the trade dress looked better than
It looks empty on the Virgin.
You say that, but I think when I saw it in real life, it doesn't look as empty. But then after you guys have said that now I kind of was like,
Now you can't unsee it.
now I can't unsee it, man. Yeah. Now I'm like, shit, I can't unsee it anymore. So
It looks
I
like
don't
it's
know.
off center. You know how like trading cards and stuff.
I know, because you're saying that now. So now I'm seeing it, but it didn't seem that way originally.
I
Even
just
when I
hate the
saw it in
1-200. The 1-200 is so horrible.
Oh, the 1-200 is trash. I didn't
Oh,
actually
well,
see that.
yeah.
What is that haircut?
Or,
That's like my haircut. But
It's not
I
a
didn't-
good Nakayama.
hey guys, if you see it in the chat or whatever down low later when you're watching this, tell me if you saw it, because I have not seen. I didn't see the 200 yet.
I haven't seen it. The
No.
version. But
I got the 100. They had the 100 at
one.
one. This is the problem that's out of pocket. They had the 100 at 165 at the store I was at. And I was like, ooh, not.
it's
paying
gonna
for
be
that.
$15.
No,
It will be.
no, because it's Delato. It'll probably be like
It'll when they
Yeah.
when they release all their ones. that
Oh
they
yeah, because they did a
exclusive.
200. You're right. You're right. It might be.
Mhm.
I
They
doubt
have
it.
store
though.
exclusives and everything else. This one.
I doubt it though, because the Delatos usually sell. Like they usually don't make it. So how that happens is the Diamond would order too much. The problem with this one is Diamond wasn't ordering any of this because they don't because of the overstock, because they don't have.
Yeah, maybe.
So them it might be a different
Yeah.
world. I actually have a question of the books coming out this week too for everybody, because I think there's one. I think Star Wars has been blowing something. I think I figured it out. All right. Anyways, sorry, we're speaking about this book because we read it this week. What do you guys think about the three stories in here? So there's a story that follows. There's one story, but it's kind of split three ways. It follows Luke Skywalker and his soon-to-be baby mama. It follows right. He is going to bang that chick, correct?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't think they'll go that route.
I don't
but-
think they will.
Really? There's no relationship at all between them?
Well, I don't know about no relationship, but like I don't know if they'll go like the whole like we're making a Ben Skywalker or anything.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna.
Oh no, yeah, I don't think they're gonna let him have another kid. No, but there definitely was like the only thing I had a problem with it was there was we've already seen it before, the typical Luke Skywalker Star Wars storyline tropes that they get into. Like, oh, I don't know. Oh, I just ran into a bad guy. Then there's also this girl thing, which is the typical girlfriend of Luke Skywalker trope they ran into. There was some intriguing stuff because there's another group out there and he's going to be hunting down like this terrorist type group, which I thought was pretty interesting, but they didn't get far enough into it. The second one, the Leia storyline, I think is good because we're getting badass Leia back. I like badass Leia. I like badass, doesn't like, we don't need to partner her up with anybody. Just kind of have her little, click underneath her where she commands them around, but is active. And that's what it looks like we're doing with there. She's coming against a group that seems like
you finally get to see a leader of the rebellion.
Yeah, thank you.
As opposed to
a badass leader of the rebellion, not not an administrator or something like that.
Funny because at this point the rebellion's basically over with.
It is, but they're kind of new. The New Republic in one way is kind of a rebellious type thing, or it's a startup. It's the same type of thing. And then a number one going to hit a low of 35. I don't know.
I think it might not go that long. Keeps it at least half.
I don't know though.
I don't.
Oh, what's that?
But I think it's going to be low. But
pre-float Leia.
Keep going with the rest of it. I'll give you my thoughts when you're done going over
the last one. I really like what they did with Han and Valance. I like that. I like that they're going to do the buddy, like outlaw story. Like
buddy cop, but not really cops.
No, it's really like Cassidy and Sundance Kid. Like that's what it is. Yeah. They're doing like cowboy out in the wilderness shit. And to be honest with you, I'm okay with that. Like that's kind of like, yeah, okay, you got these two grungy dudes that are out there living off the land, just doing stuff off the grid and like hanging out. Like it's funny, the Luke Skywalker story, all of them had something kind of in common, but I think how they used each one, they're showing their best they're showing typical aspects that longer readers have gotten used to and enjoy in most of these, right? You get the Luke relationship with the chick and like he stumbles onto something, right? Like we know that all from Legacy and everything else. We get the badass Leia, and he's right, pre-floating Leia in space. We get the better than pre-float. Like they've made Leia, Amidala, all the not Amidala, Mon. What's the one with the blue purple hair? Those are interchangeable at one time. You know what I mean? Like they're all just administrator women in charge, and it's like, okay, cool. But the one thing about Leia always was she had like this spiciness to her, right? Like she's a badass motherfucker. Her and Samuel L. Jackson had the same wallet, but they kind of took that away from her. And in this book, they honestly give it back to her, which is really nice. And then with Han Solo, the best Han Solos are the Han Solos when Han Solo's out there doing buddy stuff and just effing around and finding out. And in this book, he's effing around and finding out. I know Wayseeker's going to hate it because it doesn't have like inner monologue love stories and stuff, but they don't stop the action for that. But
that's not why I didn't like it.
Oh, here we go.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I mean,
why?
Because this is the wide open stories that we have, and to me, like they should be way more interesting. I don't care about Han and Valance. I just don't. Valance, they wore me out on the Bounty Hunters run. I don't need any more Valance. Sideline him for a while. Give me somebody different after the whole Valance love story, memory erasing, non-memory erasing. I get it's not going to get into that, but I don't care about Valance anymore after that trash. I just don't.
Who are you going to do? You're going to do Lando, 90-year-old Lando?
I don't care what you do.
Trying to hit on his daughter? Like
there's lots of people you could bring in.
Chewbacca growling for another 13 things.
The latest story was fine, but it's not as good as like some of the books we've gotten. I don't know.
Not as good as one book that Gray wrote. That's it.
She wrote two.
Okay, the two books that Gray wrote, it's not as good. And arguably one of them.
I don't know. The Luke story was really weak. By far, the Luke was bad.
I'm surprised you don't like that stuff because it was.
No, I don't want a relationship with Luke. I'm tired of relationship Luke. Yeah. Get rid of that. Luke's way more interesting than just having random relationships.
I'm not sure he is. At this point, I'm really not sure Luke is more interesting.
Luke works best, and we may still see it. I don't know, but I agree with Wayseeker. It was a weak start for Luke's thing.
I'd
Luke
agree.
works best, I think, when Luke is like leading you through the Jedi lore type of thing, which I would think we would see more of in this thing as he tries to kind of build the academy and all this other stuff.
So you saw some of that, right? Like, because he starts to do the flashback
you saw
thing
flashes of it, but
yeah,
I think the relationship story or whatever they're trying to build kind of also gets in the way of that. And maybe they'll circle back around and it'll be better, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I wasn't full flex on Luke. I was tongue in cheek when I'm saying if you like relationship Luke, I mean, that's not the story that I'm interested in.
Nobody likes relationship Luke. Nobody.
But I'll be honest. Oh yeah, they do. They like the Mary Dom here. He's gonna be like Mara Jade, best Luke ever.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, you're right. You're right. There is Doms. They're the Doms of the world. That's
so,
right.
I mean,
I think that's like because they made Mary Jade sexy. Though.
That's the only reason why.
Relationship of Luke.
Well, I mean, that's like I can't help you with goon stuff. So, but no, I mean, like people. I think you're wrong with that. I think people do like that relationship issue Luke stuff, no matter what it is. I'm not a fan of it, but then again, I don't understand most of how they write Luke because it seems like even when they try to get into lore, they screw it up too bad. So It's kind of one of the characters where I'm like, whatever. As far as Solo goes, I understand you might not like Valance as it was because they screwed the character up, but I see hope in it because this is kind of the Valance we'd want to see, right? We want to see the guy going out there.
Well, I liked it better because it's where they put everyone in relatively comfortable positions that we know. Like we know Leia is this leader type person, right? We know Luke is like you said, Jedi noob who's going to stumble into these weird situations.
Yeah.
/ relationships. And then we also know that Han is kind of going to be the scoundrel outlaw character.
Yeah.
It puts them all in those things. But I think that while the Luke character is kind of weak, at least at the start of this, I don't mean like physically weak. I mean like written weak. The Han character, they put him where it belongs, and it actually turns out pretty good.
He's also physically.
I don't want to see is like another like Han and Chewie being outlaw story. We've seen that like
I agree.
times in comics. So for it to be like Valance is probably not the perfect fit, but for it to be somebody else and to be in that comfort zone for Han, I think works well.
He is. Dom is pro. I don't know why. I think he just wants to see Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. Anyways. Holy hell, Dark Horse got their shit together. That's all I can say about this book. They got their shit together.
It's good.
You get a Sing story with a fake Pike / Aja Ventress story, and like the dude, I'll tell you this: if the Bad Batch TV show was this book, that shit people would be screaming for a season.
How come they didn't? 18. How come they didn't recognize Ventress though in the TV show?
You know what? This makes the TV show worse.
That plot hole.
Yeah, this makes the TV show 1000% worse. But I'll tell you this: if they would have done this for the TV show, hey, thanks for saying hi for the algorithm, Ed. Before you go to bed, make sure you tell the wife Happy Mother's Day. This makes it does. It makes the TV show like 10,000 times worse.
So I mean,
yeah.
Now
it's so good.
Kind of off tangent of what the comic was, but I feel like you're right. This comic is what the TV show should have been, which is like Bad Batch being Bad Batch, not necessarily Bad Batch and Omega being like we gotta do our like Lone Wolf and Cub, but as a group story type of thing or something.
Yeah. I mean, I think.
So for those people that don't know, there's like a double-headed shark in this bitch at one point. A bunch of IG guards try to come out and kill him, and they're doing all these secret co-op missions, dude. It's like fun.
This book flew underneath. We always talk about how the canon, what's it called? The story group is kind of defunct now. I think this flew under the radar of everybody. There's you know what? I'm going to put whatever the fuck I want in this book.
I'm just going to make a good story. Who's writing this? Because whoever it is I'm just going to make this good story. They're like, if Dave can skip over the story group,
I don't even know if it exists anymore. I don't know
if it does either.
I don't even either.
This book is written proof that I don't think it does.
But this Michael guy, whoever's writing this, good for you. Maybe we should reach out to this dude and talk to him because, whatever he's doing over there, or she, or whatever, they're doing a great job. They are doing a great job. It's if this is the new face of Dark Horse, they finally got together. It took them 2 freaking years, but they finally got together because this is solid. The Poe book's pretty good. This book is just a home run. It is just enjoyable, and it sucks because there's only 5 issues, I think, isn't there, or is there more than that?
Yep, just 5.
It's a mini.
Which sucks, but it's good.
No,
So
I mean, I'm glad they're doing 5. I mean,
What's up,
they can
Ryan?
always swing back and do another one.
Well, they could always do something else. They could also move. Because how the art too, by the way, the art in this is dope as shit. It fits so well. Like that. So if you look at that left color scheme, that's the art color scheme in the book too. So there's a lot of like bold colors, shading in there. Like it adds that double shark thing. I'm down, dude. Like it was at first I was like, shit, that's cool. I was like, wait, why am I loving the double-headed shark? I was like, they made it look cool as shit, bro. It's like Sharknado, but cooler. I mean, like if you can make something that sounds stupid when you're trying to explain it to people, cool, you did a good job. And that's what they did in this book. So and damn, dude. Ventress is fucking badass in that. All right, coming soon. Jedi Knights, pretty good storylines. Look, these classic homage covers have got to fucking stop, though.
They do. Like,
They've
I don't
got
even know
to stop.
who those characters are.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're homaging even.
They're okay. So I figured it out. That's why I did this. They're homaging the C cover. So they're taking the C cover and they're doing it in what they call
the C cover of this book.
Yes, and they're doing what they call classic form, which is off the classic comics from the newspaper when they used to do Star Wars classics.
Oh, it doesn't look anything like that.
It's the same 3 characters. Yeah, I get it, but I think that's what they're doing. I think that's what they're doing.
Call me when they have an homage classic of Adam Hughes drawing Slave Leia like they did.
Sweet Outer World comics. What's that?
Yep.
So call me when we get the Slave Leia Adam Hughes homage.
Yeah. They're not going to do that because they're not going to homage that. They're homaging. Did you miss what I said? They're homaging.
No, they're homaging their own book. It's weird.
They're homaging their own books. It's the weirdest thing ever. Anyways, there's 1,000 covers for this. Then you get
that cover on the left,
bro.
It just feels like you have your homage. This one, I'm gonna hold my beer.
Dude,
this one's worse.
Covers are just like brutal.
Timu Qui-Gon Jinn.
Whoever that is should never be allowed to draw again. I'm sorry, you can't do that.
Dude, you know that's the worst. That's got to be somebody's like kid, right? Somebody's kid drew that shit. Don't make fun of them.
It's the worst Qui-Gon I've ever seen.
Like when you do ask hey Gemini, draw me a picture of Star Wars.
No, hey, let me ask you this: who's the other guy? Is it Anakin or Zobi?
We know it's
somebody else.
It looks like Anakin, but I'm sure it's.
I don't know what it is.
It could be Anakin. I was thinking about that. That could be Anakin, not Obi.
Well, Anakin wouldn't be that old.
I'm pretty sure it's Obi because I don't think
Qui-Gon Jinn looks 900 years old in this.
I know, but it's just like these are Padawans. These things are masters and Padawans, so I'm pretty sure it's Obi.
Well, technically, he had 2 Padawans. Well,
he technically did.
Mr. Sinister.
All right. What? Hey, what card came in the poly?
I don't know. I'm sure it was Topps.
It was Topps for sure. Wasn't it a Topps like solo? Wasn't it like they had that one that had like the Millennium Falcon and Solo or something on it? Oh, what is that? That you were kind of right.
Yeah,
that does look like Mr. Sinister, bro. All right, let's keep going. FOC. Why are we doing the Force Awakens covers?
I don't know.
Tyler Christopher still wants his.
He just needs money.
Page. Oh, you mean the I thought you meant the Power of the Force.
No.
At this point, the Power of the Force is. I mean, it is what it is. There is a small fan base for these things, so fuck it. I mean, you're gonna sell some of them. It's better than the A covers.
Isn't it the anniversary of Force Awakens? Isn't that what the
10th
anniversary?
I think
it's
10th anniversary.
Oh, for Force Awakens, it's an anniversary for everything.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Okay, so they're doing the 1 in 100. I don't know which one I like better. The 1 in 100. I mean, I actually kind of like the Luke. I know it's crazy, but out of all these covers, the Luke one's the only one that's like halfway decent.
This one I like.
What about the Staros? Staros is decent.
Shut your mouth, idiot.
Actually,
nobody cares.
You know I love Staros.
I don't dislike the Staros, but it makes no sense in this book, probably. But
yeah, absolutely.
It's not going to make sense, but it's a cool cover.
No, but why?
Who knows why?
No, I mean, like, literally why? It's not like Women's Month.
No.
I think it is.
She's going to be in this book somehow. Maybe she's going to be.
No, she better not be. No. It could be lesbian month. I don't know.
No, she's going to be in this book, right?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
None of the stories set up for her to be in this.
It must be Queer Pride Month cover then.
When's it due out?
June.
Is that that's about right? I think it's in the summertime.
Pride Month.
Yeah, that's
a
cool cover. But yeah, if she's not in the book, I'm not interested.
Or Black History.
Yeah, nobody does like that book on the far left. It's not even a good one of her. Oh my God.
It's
Ming?
I like
Is he talking about Ming?
Though,
you're right, dude. No, Ed hit it. Hold on. He hit this. Go back. He does look like Ming. He looks like Ming the Merciless. Oh my God. All right. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see when this one comes out.
Likes any of those covers.
But this one I can justify the 1 in 100 because the trade dress brutally murders the lower half of the art.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like right. Although I don't like the lens flared sunbeam Jesus light or whatever's going on behind them there.
It's weird.
It had a cover space. It would have been too much space to blow up. But this is where I think they screwed up. This 1 in 25, if you did this as I think the version, I think it would have hit. Like not just do no trade dress, do a version. You remember that speaking of Force Awakens, remember that Force Awakens, the Joey Q one, right? Where it's just different enough. It's just a different enough style that you don't always see it in Star Wars. It had BB-8 in it, and it had
Rey.
Yeah. This just gave me a different feel of something you don't always see in Star Wars books. And I don't understand when you get a special cover, why don't you just change around where you put in the cover, right? Like if you're going to make an incentive, who says you have to make it a 125? I think this would have played a lot better if you either made it 50 or 100 and it was just your highest ratio and you didn't make two versions of this. I think it would have hit. I don't know why, but I just had this feeling like, damn, that's a cool cover you don't always see. So I think we have a problem with that with Star Wars. Is they either second print out or kill out, or whenever they get a good cover, they bury it and put dog shit like Saros on the cover. So, all right, next up, FOC for the Rise of the Force. Nobody gives a shit. Cool. That's all we got for that. Hey, should we get into the Mother Day comics or should we get into something else, some news first? Let's get to Mother's Day comics. Let's get into them. All right, so this is what we did. We grabbed three ladies. Originally, it started off as 20, but as we said, got a little crazy with some of the ladies in Star Wars. We were going to do women we love for Mother's Day, but all Dom kept entering in was Mara Jade and Slave Leia. Slave Leia. It's like, dude, no, it has to be common.
Talon was a mother, right?
What's that?
He's like, Talon was a mother, right?
Yeah, Talon was a mother. And we're like, dude, no. Wait, what? We're like, no, and we got it. He's like, well, Talon was in a comic book. He's like, there's a cover of Slave Leia. We can't do that, Tom. So what we decided to do was not take their key issues mainly, but talk about three lovely ladies who have children that were mothers, and then kind of some books maybe that you aren't looking at right now and how they're doing in the marketplace. So let's get into that real quickly. Let's start off with one of our favorites. She's current. We're doing a current. We're doing a one that everybody loves that comes back, and then we're doing a deep, which means a dark horse one. We're doing a deep legacy character, all right? So we took three different areas in that. For those people that don't know, Hera had Jace. I could have used the new pictures, but I don't like the way she looks in the TV show, and I think
Jace looks better, though. He looks like a leprechaun child in this.
I liked him. Get out of here. I thought it was so cool when you saw him in the cartoon. So here we go.
Like a troll. What? Like, I don't even understand why he has green hair. I guess because she's green. Always bothered me that the
No, you're right. That shit didn't make any sense. And did Caden have blue eyes? He was blind for half the time we saw him.
Blue eyes.
Did he? All right.
His eyes match, but like I still understand the green hair. Like, why
no, I don't understand that.
Well, they don't have any hair at all. None of them.
Like the green hair.
Yeah. That's fair. All right. This is the Forces of Destiny. Everybody likes. Which one do they always like? They like the. Is it? It's not this one.
Padme, like the Padme and Ahsoka one, wasn't it?
The Ahsoka one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But people look over this actual Hera one. Now, this is both the back and the front cover, just so you guys know to look for it on both sides. This is a 1 in 10 incentive copy. This thing still averages $50 to $30. Let me tell you something, guys. At this point, people are pulling out boxes from collections they're buying because people are weeding out stuff. and they're not going for books that are $15 to $30 to pick up every single book. They're going for what they see as the big keys. It's $50 or $100, $20, they'll do it. These books like this get mixed in all the time. So make sure you guys are looking for them. Make sure you're looking for them in half off boxes because some of the prices are coming down on this. Make sure you're checking the dollars for these because they'll go after the Soko one that seems to like a key. This is one they might pass on. And this is really cool. I mean, I think the Hera one, probably one of the most underappreciated ones too, right?
Yeah.
They did a good job on it.
These are always weird too. I think one thing that helps them keep their value is the fact that you remember like when IDW used to do the dump sales of a lot of the variants.
Yeah.
These were never in that.
That's a valid point.
So
that is a valid point. Next up, we got a book that I always wonder, like, I love this book. I bought a bunch of copies because I thought it was cool as hell. This actually happens in the storyline, but I'm not sure it's in this book, 18 or 19. But Dr. Aphra runs into Hera at one point, and they have a little mini arc storyline going on. I always thought this was one of the coolest covers. I was surprised. I figured this would be down to $1 book at this point. But Dr. Aphra, number 18, this is the B cover, just so you know. It's not the A. But so when if you look up 18, and this is 2000 and I want to say 18's Dr. Aphra.
Yeah,
it wasn't the last one. So 20 was the last one. This is 2018. 2018, number 18. This thing's selling on average for $12. Lower copies selling for like $9. Higher copies selling for $15. But still copies moving. Not a ton, but they're moving for pretty decent price and great.
I think it's also the first time she was on a Marvel book, or at least a cover for Marvel comic. Not that that's the thing, but
wasn't Kane in Marvel?
Yeah,
but she was never on the cover, was she?
Oh, that's right. That's a valid point.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't remember. I guess she would be. She'd be on the cover of what? Six? Yeah.
6. Yeah.
In the back.
Cheers. Oh, look at this. Wookiee's 2 for 2 right now. Yeah, great book. Actually, good little storyline too. Kind of cool. And obviously, Hera's made her appearance across now in live action, so that's cool. She's got Dr. Aphrodite. All right, moving to the next one. We had to put it in there because if we're going to not do Slave Leia, at least we're going to do Mara Jade. Mara Jade, for those people who don't know, had a really creepy looking kid named Ben Skywalker. Never breathed through his nose, always breathed through his mouth. Mara Jade, though,
he yelled a lot.
Oh yeah,
he was a big yeller.
So a lot of people, a lot of people remember her from Thrawn: Heir of the Empire, and then her cover appearance, which was 2 or 3 over there. But what they overlook a lot of times is that she had a mini series out of 1 through 6 called "By the Emperor's Hands." It gets passed over all the time. A lot of people don't grab it. Yep. Number 1, yeah, he says, yeah, basically
the Union. I mean, both of these miniseries get looked over. She had another one, Union.
Yeah. I didn't get into Union. I only went to
looked over. So
he just liked Union because it's the Luke Skywalker marriage thing.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I like it. I'm telling you they sell as a set.
Yeah. So Mary Jade, this number 1 sells for $19 to $30 depending on condition for number 1. Number 2, which you saw on the cover, still sells for about $8 on average. But as Wayseeker already ruined it and alluded to it, where the key is here is to sell these kind of as in packs. They do sell all of them except for like number 1 and sometimes number 2 for like $20 to $30. But these sell for anywhere, depending on conditions, highs for almost $100. Lows really about 36 in bad condition, bad pictures. But it's pulling up that average price of about $50 per copy for the 6 books, which, I mean, bro, $10 a book for shit, man.
Yeah. I mean, also, you easily get 60 from if you're patient.
Mm-hmm. What's up?
Also written by a great Star Wars author.
Who's that?
Timothy Zahn.
Yeah, Zahn. Yeah. Yeah, it's a great story too. So if you 3 for 3, Wookie says. Well, are you 5 for 5? Hey, but if you could get these, dig out the rest of them and then hold off. Even if you got paid $10 from a first book, for number 1, 15 for number 1. The rest of these books, 6 through 4 are dollar books. I mean, dollar fodder. You can find 2. To be honest, you can find 2 in dollar books too. Yeah. So
4 is about the best cover too. I always thought the kind of close up or whatever with the lightsaber blade,
the lightsaber
lighting it.
I actually like 2, and she's pushing her chest out, the planet's blowing up behind her. But I was trying to do it for Dom. I was trying to hook Dom up, but you never know because I know he's never seen that book before. But there you go. So that's sets to look forward there too. And then finally, we had to go with the obscure one, the one that you don't hear a ton about. Noma Sunrider with her little daughter Vim. Huh?
I know you don't have a contact in, but
Nomi.
Nomi.
Yeah.
Nomi.
with Vima.
Vima. I think it's Vima.
Hey, laugh like that's a normal name, Waysinger. What crack ass neighborhood you live where Vima's a normal name?
And Vima.
It's like somebody. They had a Zima too while they were at it.
Just like Sunrider and like the last name. Like,
I had a bunch of Zimas, and then I had a Nomi and a Vima.
You should ask my wife sometime about all the names I tried to name our kid, and she just said,
Lord, I can only imagine
divorce if you name any of these names for our kid. So
5 for Wookiee. All right, Waze, what would you like to add? I've got some stuff in here, Double J, to kind of go through. She actually has a very extensive history in Legacy. And we'll cover some of the books there. Bunch of series she shows. Huh?
It's an old Republic character.
She starts off in, we'll get to it. She starts off in Tales of the Jedi #3, and they actually start calling it the saga of her. And then after that, all the subsequent Tales of the Jedi storylines, like the Sith ones and the wars and everything else, she participates in. This thing actually sells for $10, which is pretty sweet. I know for hell I picked this up for $1 just like a month ago. So.
One of the names, Wookiee, Perpetua.
Like Lady Perpetua?
That was one of the names I was going to try to name the kid, but they said no.
I don't even want to know what your kid's name is.
Why would you do that to your own child?
Yeah, because he does. I think the question is, why do you have kids? Because I sure as shit think you hate kids. I really do. All right.
I want my child to get beat up at least weekly at school for having the name Perpetua.
Yeah. Next up, we've got one. Tales of the Jedi, Dark Lords of the Sith #1. Now, yes, there was a black and white ash can. We'll cover that in a little bit. But this also had Naga Sato in it. It's kind of. So it was supposed to be his first appearance, but they kind of retconned that was his first appearance. They do a lot of that stuff too. So, like, I don't know. I thought he was pretty cool. He's a badass character. He was a great Sith. These Sith War books are pretty dope. Dark Lords of Sith kind of starts us into the Sith Lord thing. There's a whole nother series. We'll get into that in a little bit too with it. These are fun to read. And actually, here we go. The ash can is going for $20 to $60. Raw #1 is going for $4. But Wayseeker could probably help us more. Yeah, I know his wife. God bless her. Happy Mother's Day to her. Forever. But in Wayseeker, because we're going to get into the sets here soon, is one of the reasons the sets do here well is because a lot of these, like, they only have the omnibuses from, right?
No, they have trades, but some of the trades are expensive. So,
yeah.
Like,
here we go with these. So, like, 1 through 6, $32, $24, $25, and this is average. It pretty much was averaging anywhere from $35 to $25 on these. So, go ahead. I mean, like, that's
trades are like $60. So it's cheaper to buy
the floppies for half the price. Yeah,
a half price. But people like the trades. Like Redemption is a really expensive trade. That one's hard to come by.
Yeah, sure. But I think with this series, like Tales of the Jedi, because they use the Tales of the Jedi, the first one. I think they have Dark Lords and I think they have War all together. But it's in it's either in a huge hardcover or an ominous.
I mean they have epics. The epics are expensive.
Or the epics, yeah. Huh?
The epics are expensive. But Epic Volume 1 particularly. Epic Volume 1 is like 160, 170.
I don't know if I'm going to ruin a future slide by saying this, but she was one of the few Star Wars characters to get a comic outside of a Star Wars title.
I didn't do that one. Which one did you
do? The Dark Horse Comics 7 or whatever.
Yeah. No, all I did was I stayed with the Tales. I asked for people's lists to input on the
I know, I didn't see it till it was too late.
Also, too, we get this one, the Sith War. I decided to do 6. This is one I always pick up. I think is great. I don't know how people feel about this. Mandalore the Ultimate is in here. I don't give a crap what anybody says, especially some stupid board game players. And you try to retcon it and just say it was a random Mandalorian soldier. It is Mandalore the Ultimate. It's his like setup. It's his whole gimmick. You're trying to retcon some crap in a game years later. I don't care. But you get both Mandalore and the Indomitable. I wish Don was here too for this too, because this is kind of the series he probably should like and go back and read, because it has to deal with the Mandalorian Wars. For those people that don't know, that's how the whole thing leads up to Darth Revan. It's really funny because when you talk to Darth Revan, and then you talk to some of these people about, oh well, you know, the Ultimate's mask and everything like that, they don't know what you're talking about. Right. Okay.
Most people don't even know that his Revan's mask came from a Mandalorian mask.
Yeah. That's what it came from. It came from Mandalorian. That's what I was saying. Thank you. So I mean, this series, although the covers are kind of corny, the like actual and art's okay, at best. The actual
it's early
stories,
90s, early 90s comic art for sure, or mid 90s.
The actual stories are really good. Yeah, that's the other problem too. It is beat up, but even in some beat up conditions, like some of the sets still sell pretty decent. Raw's selling $9.50 for this, but here we go once again. Sets in the 35, and some of them the high grade. This is where you kind of hold it here. Low grade, you can get these for like $15 to $20, but in high grade, it's $35 all day for complete sets of this book. So great storyline. Lots of Mandalorian, lots of Sith in this. It's really cool. I don't know if Filoni's going to bring in a lot of legacy characters. I think you got it. I think.
Go ahead.
What do you mean? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I mean, he brings them in, but he doesn't. As far as like comic speculation goes, it's tough because he brings in a lot of characters, but they're not necessarily the same character.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's like a character that's kind of modeled after a character that was.
Or he's still fighting with the people who created him.
Or he does like Thrawn, where he brings him back, but he kind of does his own thing. So it gets a little bit awkward with speculation. Like you could see any number of characters pop up.
I'll tell you this. That's the one
Uzan
thing.
Vong or something pop up, but it's not really the Uzan Vong. It's something just like the Uzan Vong.
Right.
Well, it could be the Gist too. That's the one
same thing with like Aaron Van Ruder or whatever. He took that off of that pilot from X-Wing.
Oh yeah, from the X-Wing.
He just renames them and uses the story. So that's the hard part. Is
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
But I think the one thing that we are seeing that might actually help, and it kind of sucked because she decided to not set up her situation well enough to have a season 2 because she set it up for a season 2, is when you saw stuff like Plagueis happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah. That would have been, I think, if we get away from the Dave Filoni universe and we're going to with some of these like other people flying out in the sky and everything else, that's where we're going to start to incorporate more classic legacy characters. So I mean, that's like our greatest hope. And it's not just like a flash in the pan, like, oh, I hope one day it happens. We saw it happen. Now, the failure of Acolyte was derived by a bunch of different factors, including the fact that the main director-writer decided she thought she deserved a second season without finishing a first season in conclusion. So shot herself in the foot. But yeah, I mean, for Outer Worlds comic, I think we have an opportunity. I just wouldn't have much faith, as the boys are saying. I wouldn't have much. We're done with the comic section, anyways. I wouldn't have much faith in. Right? Do you guys feel the same way about that? In Dave?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like I said, he brings something forward. It's not necessarily he is the ultimate guy of basically crafting something that wasn't his to kind of make it his. So when he brings something forward, it's not necessarily going to follow what you saw before. And like I said, it might not even have the same name or technically be the same character. It just shares traits with that character.
Very few traits sometimes too.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't look like it either, which is unfortunate because I think you're right. I think there would be people, just like we're seeing the comics kind of go back to more of an era of the legacy type style, I think they're figuring out like they can still get that. I mean, obviously the one good thing even with Andor, you see pace is there's a lot of stuff that Gilroy's doing that, and we can get into that in extra news, but there's a lot of stuff in Gilroy does that has, you could say it's a Star Wars feeling. I think people forgot what the Star Wars feeling is. It's not like, oh, we have to see lightsabers and everything else. There's just a way the story is told, and it's not, oh, this is a samurai story. I think like people forgot what Star Wars is about. Maybe that's the problem with Dave and John. They keep going, well, it's based off of Kurosawa films. Like, we get that, but it's not just based off of Kurosawa films. There's been a lot of stuff that it has been based off. George Lucas liked to steal a lot of themes and put them in there, and it's kind of complicated unless you can like magically do that because he had a bunch of people working on it, which I think the isolationist stuff of George has always been the worst stuff of George. Can we agree with that? Like when he doesn't have like there's a reason why Empire and Hope are the better too. You know what I mean?
Like, Waysticker said it, and I agree with him. Like, if you're doing a show, a movie, or something else, you should have a writer's room. Like, for it to be like one person's vision, and then thrown up screen is usually where stuff goes wrong.
Yeah,
sometimes it works out well to have like a overarching vision. Like if you're doing a trilogy, Disney sequel trilogy, for instance, to have an overarching vision of one person, but to have like one person in charge of like all the creative, the writing, the directing, and everything else, which is what Lucas sometimes did. That's usually when things kind of go cockeyed as far as the telling of the story and everything.
Well, I think that's kind of where Story Group would have, if they actually used it properly, would have came in good and gave a lot of people hope. So, all right, well, you're welcome, Outer Rim. Next up, let's get into it, JJ. You got the news.
I got the news.
He's got the news.
Oh, hell no.
We got something for you all this week.
Oh my god!
It's been a week of
Dom's not here, so your Dom trolling articles.
Yeah, your Dom trolling is not going to work.
Yeah, well, whatever. You can always hope. But I think the biggest news of the week was Tony Gilroy came out this week and said he had a different K2 origin story that he wanted to do, and it was going to be a standalone monster movie episode.
Like
Disney said they didn't have enough money, so they had to scrap this one. The budget of season 2, the budget of season 2 couldn't surpass the budget of season 1, is what Disney said. So it still was,
even though it's more episode, there's more bang for their buck in this. Like they're throwing a lot more shit there.
Huh? I know, but it's still like 200. I think it's 250 million or something like that for season 2.
Dude, he's doing this in the same budget as one.
Yeah,
that's wild, bro. Hold on. No, JJ, hold the phone. Hold the phone, Mr. JJ, because you're always complaining about these budgets. You're telling me this cat is doing this more minutes per hour, like better quality stuff.
But you don't got to build the sets again. You got to understand how that works.
The sets they were running. Hey, first one they were running. They were out there in beaches in fucking Italy, just fucking running around, having droids everywhere. Shut the fuck up, building.
You don't understand how much sets they built for Ferrix and how they did that with all of that coming down there. They spent so much money on season 1 by all the Ferrix, and they had so many more people.
Say Ferrix one more time. Nobody gives a shit about Ferrix.
They made Star Wars Paris, for crying out loud, for the season. Like,
dude, yeah. Hey, listen. They went from the beaches. They went from the beaches of Sicily to Star Wars Paris. This one, they were vacationing in the first one. That's what cost more. That Ferrix bullshit was the same over and over reshoot of some fucking room, dude.
And so was the jail stuff they built.
Well, if it was, then they spent money on the wrong shit.
Well, that might be true, but it was expensive. I can tell you that much.
I don't know how this particular like horror movie thing would have worked in the story, though. Like,
I don't know. It doesn't sound like.
Well, do you know what this
gives?
Else
we've seen so far, it doesn't seem like
you do know what this gives, right? I see why Waysticker did this, because exactly what you said. This gives Dom ammunition. You can see what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? Because originally that's what was going to happen. See what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, the fact is that's what was going to happen. Because I know because people said that. The fact is that's what was going to happen. But I think it would have been kind of cool, man. I do think seeing the origin of the build off of Frank's
story, though, as it was. I don't know. I think it worked well.
Yeah. Look, Gilroy. Hey, when Gilroy stops hitting home runs, you can tell me that you're okay with him not doing his ideas. But till that day, whatever Gilroy says.
We'll talk about ratings in a little bit. But yeah, we'll talk about ratings. Okay. You and I agree. Everybody else, not so much. But we'll come back to this. I would have loved to see it, but
on what? There's not one person I've talked to that has said anything negative about this.
No, it's not that. It's not about.
Well, besides JJ, but JJ says negative shit.
I'm not negative on it. I'm saying no.
Talk about it. We'll get to the review.
We're spoiling the review.
We'll get to the review. Anyway, no, I think we're just fine without this. So if they needed money elsewhere, then that's fine.
You can't be mad.
This is like an idea he had, because remember he said they planned out like 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah,
I feel like this was at that time when they had more time and more seasons to do it in. I think,
and it might be cool that they did. I mean, that's kind of cool too that they're editing stuff down, so maybe they are not giving everybody that much directional.
I mean, you think about it, he has to cover each 3 episodes segment or whatever is 1 year, right? So he literally has to cover 4 years and 12 episodes. That's a lot of time to cover.
Well, whoever was making him do that, they made the right call. They made the right call because it's working.
Agreed. All right. Nika Fetterman, that's the voice actor for Ventress, has teased that there's more Ventress on the way. Now that you've watched Tales of the Jedi Underworld, do you think the 3-episode arc was a backdoor pilot
For
of Asajj Ventress' path, or that kid show? I don't know whatever they're going to do, but with that, are we going to get another animated show? She said there's more Ventress on the way. Is that what they're going to bring?
Well, you know, there was 3 different storylines in that. Did you watch it?
It was the same. It was her with the kid, and she ultimately didn't choose the path, but it was one story with trying to get the kid to safety.
Yeah. I mean, there's the other, like, there's the fact that there's quizzers involved, and then there's other things that could go with it. But, like, what I don't get, I mean,
so is he the new broom boy? Are you asking if he's the new broom boy?
Well,
are we going to get
it? He was
another show?
I know what you're saying. What's that?
Is that going to be are we going to get another animated show? We've already said they want to go animated, so maybe we get 2 animated shows at the same time.
You know what? This is the one thing I'll tell you about animated shows. They need to do it. They need to go back to the Clone Wars style if they're going to do an animated show. It was the one thing that worked very well because they could, like, this works well too because it's the same thing. But if you're going to do something that's more than 6 mini episodes or whatever, it's going to be a long running show. Unfortunately, we've seen Resistance since the time of Rebellion, which worked differently. Rebellion was pretty good, but it did follow the similar format to Clone Wars, but it actually led to the Bad Batch problem because Bad Batch leaned in too much of it. But like, which is like one overarching thing, but the overarching thing was Omega there. The overarching thing was like the family scenario and how Ezra Bridger gets where he gets in Rebels. But if you look at how much similar the layout and plot line and storytelling of just like, hey, we're going to go in and tell a story this time about Hera's family. Hey, we're going to go and tell a story about hey, we're going to tell a story about Ezra's upbringing. Hey, we're going to do a Darth Maul story. Hey, we're going to do this. That's really the format they used in Clone Wars. You know where they didn't use those 2? Bad Batch and in Resistance. And you know how those did? Shit, they were terrible. So if you're going to tell this story...
You saw those stories. You saw a whole story on Hera's family in Bad Batch.
You did.
And whose family?
Hera's.
They did
saw a whole bunch of... I don't know, man. They tried... but it didn't... Like, it wasn't the same feel as when we did it.
It was a different type of story. I agree with you. But, so do you want an Asajj Ventress show?
I wouldn't mind as long as we do it in the spirit of this, which these have been kind of. If you do it in the style of Tales and if you do it in the style of Clone Wars, then yes. If you do it in the style of Resistance or Bad Batch, definitely Bad Batch. No, I do not. If it's the style of Bad Batch,
it would definitely be in the style of Bad Batch if they did it.
Huh?
It would definitely be in the style of Bad Batch if they did it. The story is pretty much the story that you saw in Tales of the Underworld was essentially Bad Batch with Jedi powers, right?
Yeah. Hold on. Or it's the beginning of Rebels.
Yeah, but at that time, Ezra doesn't really have, like, he wasn't a trained Jedi. He doesn't have a lightsaber, know how to use it, or he builds one. But I don't know. I guess.
Yeah, but it's not much different.
No.
And by the way,
Rebels was a group.
But then too, like, what I'm saying is, like, if you're gonna do it, then just not have it where it's, like, not have it where it starts to follow another character for a little bit, and it brings the story line back in, right? Like, you can have these little breakoffs where it's like, okay, cool, we run to this story, so then we're going to do a pullback story of these characters, kind of like they introduced Hondo, and they did like multiple arcs on him, and then they did all these other, like, even bad guys that they had to go out and fight and stuff like that. I don't mind that adventure time stuff. But I had a problem with Bad Batch was, like, especially season 2, there's no point to it. It was just, we're going to run around forever. You know what I mean? And that just, you don't want that. And Resistance, I'm speechless. I talk all the time.
I have never watched Resistance season 2. That's how bad Resistance season 1.
No, I didn't either. No, I've never seen Resistance. I saw one episode. I was like, still not it.
So talking about Tales of the Underworld, it is now the highest rated Star Wars project of all time. It is past Andor. It is 100%.
Rated by who?
It is 100% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. 100%. By the, it's like
I think it's because real critics didn't review it probably.
I mean, I don't know. I just surprised. Like the other ones are like 80s.
I gotta pull this up and see that.
Both of the other tales were like in the 80s.
It's probably not anymore. Yeah.
But this one was 100 when I looked it up on Friday.
I'm telling you, I don't think they're wrong. It's the best one out of the tales. I mean, what did they really screw up on this one? You said you
hated the Cad Bane arc. You said that last week. You didn't like the
No. Like I said was, I didn't think it was necessary.
Well, it's pretty
bad. But the storyline in itself wasn't terrible. They didn't have saber-tooth tigers capturing
That's right.
Ahsoka and walking around, right?
Right.
I can here's the thing, JJ. I can appreciate that it may not have been the Cad Bane story that I wanted, but I can also appreciate the fact that it wasn't a complete shit show train wreck. Like, there are two different things. Just because you don't get what you want all the time doesn't mean what you got was bad, right? You may want a bacon cheeseburger on a glazed donut, but you might just get a ham sandwich, and that ham sandwich might be damn good. It's just not what you wanted that day. That doesn't mean the ham sandwich is shit. That's all I'm saying.
The reviews.
It's still 100% by critics.
Well, only 12 reviews though, and it doesn't tell you.
I get that, but still, 100% is pretty amazing for anything.
JJ, I thought you liked these.
JJ clearly didn't like it. JJ thinks it's horrible.
I'm just saying it doesn't deserve to be above like an Andor. It doesn't deserve to have 100% either. I mean, Who
are you to tell what doesn't deserve, JJ?
100% is perfect. Did you really watch this and think it was perfect though?
Dude, there's nothing in this
really
world
good.
Is perfect.
What was bad about it?
Hey, guess what? Out of the 3 that they have already, I'm watching this one again.
I didn't much care for the Cad Bane arc.
No, I mean, like I said, that's not my favorite thing to see there, but the Ventress one was spot. I mean, there's nothing I can
good, but it also was just like a long trope. Like I said, it's a trope story we've seen before where, person rescues kid and then they try to get him to safety.
He said it's pretty good, so that's why it's got 100. No, JJ just said 2 positive things, and then you're surprised it got 100. No, that's why. Like, we get it.
I was to say it's a trope story. That's not positive.
Well, no, before that, you said it's pretty good. That's the best we're ever gonna get out of it. Like, it was a good story. Dang thing was pretty good. I'll take those.
It's not something you would think had 100%.
Hey, guess what? Clone Wars, the cartoon, wasn't 100% either. It wasn't perfect either. Damn good.
Season 1 and Season 2 were nowhere near 100%.
By the way, we had a dance scene in Andor that was just stupid with Mo Mon.
Clone Wars, the movie,
damn
is the
good
worst rated Star Wars movie ever, and commercially, worst Star Wars movie ever.
I mean, anyway. Venom. What? Like Venom? Tell me, okay, Venom. If this is gonna be your take, I don't mind that you say it's just okay. I can live with that. But the second part was not really needed. If that's your take, then tell me what's really needed in Star Wars, because there ain't really much.
The question is, do you really want this to go down as being like one of the highest rated or the highest rated Star Wars project of all time?
I don't care.
I don't care.
Just that it's getting positive reviews, I'm happy. Yeah, I don't care. Just that I don't have to hear some nonsense. Just that I don't have to hear some mumbo jumbo nonsense about like the cut on her dress wasn't deep enough, or Cad Bane like shouldn't be making out with chicks because whatever, or like this is too woke. Like, if I don't have to hear any of that bullshit anymore,
I still don't get the point.
I'm fine. I don't care. Huh? I didn't have to hear.
Understand the point of the Cad Bane story. Like,
I don't even know who. Hey, listen. Here's the best
Star Wars. I'm like, what's the point? But it's fun.
Here's the best thing.
I mean, like, I legit. JJ like, didn't add anything to his character. Didn't change his character anyway. It didn't like explain. It didn't even make sense. Like, why on earth? Like, was he taking?
What?
I don't know.
I don't have. Hey, you know what I haven't?
Star Wars. Like, what's the point of Andor spending 2 episodes?
It seemed like a 30-minute excuse to get Cad Bane to have a showdown with somebody again.
Come on now, it's Star Wars.
What's the point of any of the Clone Wars episodes? Hey, this is what I love about it too.
The Clone Wars is not good in the start.
Hold on. Here's the things that I didn't have to hear about this fucking thing: budget, who the director, who the writer, who the person's wife, girlfriend, what their sexual orientation is. I didn't have to hear anything about
Filoni all the time. He was creator and writer of it.
Hey, look, I didn't even have to do that one on this one.
I didn't know I was going to troll JJ on this one so bad.
Yeah,
great.
But dude, so 100%, 100%, 100%. I didn't have to hear about the budget, the fucking. Who gives a shit? I'm not paying for the budget. What the fuck do I care about a budget for?
Oh my God.
It's Mother's Day. You got me swearing out here. See, all right, Venom. If you feel that way about the Cad Bane story, I'm not going to.
That's kind of how I feel about it too. I didn't
all right.
What's up now?
All right, here we go. We got Katie Sackhoff confirms that Bo-Katan's coming back in an upcoming Star Wars project.
Oh, see this, JJ. So this, what you got? Yes, it's way better than hearing me.
I'm not
like
doing the news this week. Okay, I'm not the one who puts down oh yeah, every actor wants to return to Star Wars.
No, she confirmed. She's coming back.
She confirmed that was something we knew already. Yeah, we knew she's coming back. Yes.
No, I thought
Shockula.
Kill her off screen or something.
Yeah, it's gonna be for the movie. We all know that she's gonna show up in the movie.
You assumed this, Ryan, and everybody else would assume she's coming back for the Mando movie.
Yep.
Anyway. Mando movie it is. All right. Yeah.
We got
Which is fine. I like her. She's a good character. I actually hold on. Can we go back to that?
Sure.
I don't know why.
Also,
I actually I'm glad
she could be back in the mall stuff too.
She could. Why does Dom hate her so much?
Because he hates any good Mandalorian that's not Boba Fett.
Yeah, he doesn't hate her as an actress, but he hates the season because of her.
Yeah, that's right.
Which
any
I don't
Mandalorian
understand.
He hates.
Season 3? I thought that was Lizzo was why he didn't like.
No, he just doesn't like any Mandalorian. He doesn't like Mando.
Right, if you don't, I think she did a good job. I mean, look, the goal line that I want to see is I want to see a showdown between Rookcast and Bo-Katan one time. I think that would be the ultimate girl fight.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be cool. And I think I hear Denham's right. I think Dudley's right. I think she's a good actress. I think she does a good job in here. I mean, he was mad that she was sitting. His complaint, now mind you, was that she was put her leg over she was sitting too lazily in the chair of the throne of Mandalore.
So, just to play
her castle.
she could and likely will also appear in the Maul series.
I'm gonna say it would line up.
Yeah, which is fine.
I want to see her in the Maul series. I want to see her with Maul going at it.
Speaking of Don, here he is.
Well,
Don, what do you think of this?
I think her involvement would be more the fact that Maul's obviously still involved with the Death Watch folk, like Rootcast and all that. So,
yeah.
Maybe she gets an animated part back in the cartoon, or she shows up in Mando.
But what if we get a live action Katie Sackhoff versus Rookcast chick fight?
I would love it.
Love it too if they have to do other things to them.
You okay? Do you need it?
My allergies are freaking beating the shit out of me right now.
Oh yeah, you got too much sun too.
No, it's no sun. I just can't. I didn't go out in the sun. This is my blood pressure.
Dude, go. Do you want a minute? Take a minute. I'll throw you backstage for a second.
No, I'm good. No, I just got back from work and my allergies all of a sudden just hit me. I'm good.
All right. Yeah, the Mythosaurus would be kind of cool too. All right, yeah. Hey, this is no shit news for the week.
I know.
Wayseeker.
No problem. All right.
Actors says they're coming back to do something they're supposed to.
We're starting to get Andor ratings for episodes, and they are low. They are real low. They are lower than the last few episodes of Acolyte.
Listen, the hell with those people that are making this happen. This show is the best freaking show out there.
I agree with you.
Star Wars show. I don't care. The writing is superb. The acting is superb. Better than any goddamn thing.
Is the problem the release schedule?
Anything. I don't care.
Dom, I think you all unfinished because I was about to say the same thing. Go ahead, Wayseeker.
Is the problem the release schedule?
Yes, it's 100% the release schedule. I think it is hard, and I was actually at fault. I almost missed the last episode this week. It is hard to get 3 hours of constant TV in with everything else that's going on, and it's in summertime right now in the Midwest, in the North, and in the East Coast, which God knows most of us out here are doing stuff. JJ, you can say what you want, but for the common fan, TV times go down at this point, and to try to get somebody, mind you, we also got a Marvel movie that came out that did pretty well that a lot of people went to go see. There's a lot of stuff going on. To sit down and watch 3 hours of movie and have a split fan base where you've got stuff going on. Like, I know people said it was cooked, but there is a lot of people that like The Last of Us and there's crossover spirits. So you're telling me you're going to sit down.
Ratings are tanking. Huh? Supposedly. So The Last of Us ratings are way down, supposedly.
Yeah, well, I expect all of it to be down right now because it's a tough time. It's not like we're watching this in the middle of winter.
It's also down because of the stuff they put in it. That's the thing. And this is the same with Star Wars.
Referring specifically to Andor, like, to me, I don't find this shocking at all because we know how the first season went, right? The first season was low at the beginning. Like, it was the lowest at that time, the lowest viewed Star Wars show. And you can see it in the Nielsen ratings. It ticked up as it got toward the end, but it started off in the lowest part too.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they're missing out on what might be some of the best Star Wars ever, but there's a contingent of Star Wars fans that will never watch this.
I don't know if that's the case. I think I'm not going to say that. I think you might be right at some point. There might be some quote unquote fans that won't. There is a lot of hype for this. And everywhere you go and talk to Star Wars fans, not one of them isn't watching this. As a Star Wars fan who has a family, who does outside stuff, I am telling you, it is difficult to watch 3 hours consistently.
I'm not saying that, but
of programming, and I'm just saying, like, even I thought at one point,
binge watchers exist, so you can't just say that. Yeah. I don't think that's a thing. But
at 9 o'clock,
you don't think what's the thing?
Let me finish my point real quick. Binge watchers exist, so there's going to be people that will watch all 3 hours at once. Anyways,
I agree.
There's people that do that.
And I agree.
On top of that, I don't know what ratings we're using for this. Is this like engagement ratings? Like
it's minutes per.
This actual Nielsen rating, because Nielsen ratings are measured in minutes watched, right? So it's actually better for the show to drop all at once, because then you get your binge watchers watching several minutes, and you get your other people. So as far as like a Nielsen rating goes, this would probably actually help them in that regard versus hurt them.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying. I'm just telling you that it is like it. Even though these were 3 great episodes. Like it takes a while, and I think especially as it goes on, Wayseeker's question was, did it hurt how they're releasing it? I think it did. I think people are more easy, and it might just be a new situation where they're easier to watch, binge the first week or binge the second week in the 3 hour period because you know it's coming. But now we're in week 3?
Yeah.
Are we?
So we're 9 episodes.
So we're almost a month into this. That's a lot to take a month off.
I know people who are like, I missed the first 2 weeks. I don't got time to catch up. It's not like if you missed the first 2 weeks, you're 2 episodes behind. Now you're 6 episodes behind going into 3 more episodes.
This is what he's saying.
People binge watch stuff all the time.
I'm not complaining.
There's some people that
understand streaming in a common sense world that people watch streaming. Like, people watch streaming and binge hours of streaming content. And
they
that's
do.
Why there's 18 million shows on the thing.
You're right. You're right. But JJ, that's not how
it's
all
not like people watch
works.
one episode. People actually. A very large contingent of people actually hate it when it's a 1 episode a week drop.
Can I say that? Last year, the 1 episode thing, people didn't like. Oh, it's a slow burn. It's boring. It's this. It's that. 12 episodes, and now you're doing it away where it's mini movies that once a week. It's all you gotta do is watch it once a week.
Ratings are.
But here, that's what Dom. But here's what I'm guys. Here's what I'm telling you, Dom. You just said it. You just keyed it in. You're telling me how I have to consume my entertainment now. All you have to do is once a week set aside 3 hours. Bro, I don't set 3 hours aside for shit besides this, doing this stuff right here. Like, I don't, and I'm having trouble doing that right now, to be honest with you. You guys know that. I'm having trouble getting any of this product done just for this show so we can entertain people week in and week out.
But your situation, yeah, man. Everyone's situation.
I know, but neither is a situation. You said everybody binge watches. That's not the same situation.
No, I didn't say everybody. I said a large number of people do it.
Okay, I got it. But JJ, let's just take a very small census group of this panel. 2 of us are saying the same things, and the other 2 are saying the same things. That's 50%. I mean, it's a small sample size, but just in our sample size here, 2 people are saying the same things. 2 people are also saying the same things. And there are some hold on, there are some demographics that are similar to 2 of the people here who have the same opinion, and 2 of the other people that don't have the same opinion.
I don't see
2 of us have children, I'm just telling you
all of it. But I don't see why that affects the ratings. Like, I don't know what we're using as ratings here. Is this like an engagement thing? Because there's no Nielsen ratings.
That's true. Definitely. So
per episode.
I mean, there's no. So I wonder when like the Nielsen rating drop and you're looking at actual minutes watched in a week, whether or not the story will be the same.
It is. This is minutes watched. This is Nielsen ratings. Minutes watched. The minutes watched are lower minutes watched than Acolyte, and it's way down over season 1.
For Deadly Venoms, you bring up an actually great point. Do you know that only 52% of the people actually watch all 3 of our shows at one time? Besides that, it gets split up. So it's exactly what I'm telling you. Half the people watch that way, the other half don't.
YouTube.
Well, I mean, I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. That's how it works. So like,
our show would do much better, viewing wise. I'm sure of it if we were a 1-hour show.
Yeah,
it's because people see it's a 3-hour show. They're like, no, thank you.
Yeah,
I'm glad you all do it. And there's lots of people we love doing it for 3 hours.
No, we appreciate you guys watching. But
the reality is, shorter shows.
But it's a different format of because we're not a television show on Disney Plus. That, like, I mean, also too, as far as minute watch, like you don't have to watch it all at once. You can watch it one day and then
I get the problem is if you get behind. I was talking to a friend of mine.
Hold on. Can I just ask you a question just to end this one right here?
Let me.
Hold on, JJ. You keep cutting people off and then telling everybody to wait and hold on.
Watch it?
Hold on, JJ. Hold on. Can I just ask this question? Maybe we'll squash this. In 3 months after this is done, or 6 months, when Wayseeker comes back with something, JJ, do you expect the numbers to be better on this? Like overall numbers? Because this is what he's setting this up for.
Well, if it tracks to season 1, and I think this is true this season too, it's a slower start series. Even this second season was a slow start. So I think it will pick up just like season 1 did as far as popularity and views and everything goes. And I think for, as it goes on too in the story, you get better critic reviews, you get more people writing articles and other stuff about it. I think that will pick it up too. Oops, I think I skipped that forward.
You did. That's all right.
But but even if it doesn't pick up, you can argue people are missing out or whatever. I just think when it comes to, I don't think necessarily the format they released it in helps it or hurts it. I just think it's Andor. I think there's a contingent of people that won't watch it. Like you said, there's people watching other things and doing other things.
Yeah. I think that metric is pretty.
The first season was out in I think September or October. Yeah. So it's not even the same time of year. So
going into fall. Yeah. Well, so here's what I'm saying. I think we kind of agree on a lot of points. And this is also it too. I think after these 3 episodes too, the uptick of like popularity, just like it was in the prison episodes, these are the episodes that are going to get hit up. I mean, we had the dance episodes and everything else, but I do think there is. I think there is a thing. So I guess the question is yes and no, or the answer to your question is yes and no, Wayseeker. I think if they went 3 weeks with episodes 3 or 4, 5, and 6, it might be a slower trickle downhill, but we might have had a slower trickle uphill. And then now that we get this, I expect at the end we'll get it. It's kind of like Don was saying, like, you got these power hits in the beginning because people said it was slow. Yeah, he's right. We would have taken that slow burn in 4, 5, and 4, 5, and 6. And now we got 7, 8, 9. We would have seen that trickle up again, right? Now we're just seeing it faster happen because we're throwing them all together.
Well, I'm going to tell you this.
In that amount of time, like it's also a month. And as JJ said early on, before we even started this series, I don't think if he remembers that, but he goes, watch, a lot of people are just going to wait a month and then binge the whole thing. And I think he's kind of right there too. So I think that's where you see that decline, which is weird because he's out arguing his own argument. But like either way, let's talk about balloons.
Well, I'm going to tell you this really quick. This week coming up, the last 3 episodes, I'm watching all 3 episodes and Rogue One. So I'm going to watch the entire thing.
That's not high blood pressure, son. You got burnt.
I didn't get burnt. I wasn't even in the sun today. I was at work all day.
I don't care. You got burnt somehow.
Hold on. Stop the show. Thank you, Airboy. We'll still go 3 hours. Hold on, Dom. Hold on, bro.
What?
You're like lobster red.
You're red, bro. No, you're red. You're red.
All right.
You're red.
Blood pressure, man.
All right. Balloons for
take that pill or
wear sunscreen before you go into balloon, Dom. The title here is wrong, but the main town.
I don't put death wishes on myself. I don't go on these fucking things.
Hey, he ain't lying. That is it. You ain't got too many brains going up in one of these.
I totally went Dom on that one. Give me a thing.
I would totally do this. It's
good. Please do. I'll pay for it.
Bye. I missed a word there, but they're hosting the Rise of the Balloon Festival for the 31st annual hot air balloon. There's going to be 16 different Star Wars hot air balloons that they will be shooting off. It'll be everything's going to be Star Wars. if you're in Maine or can't get to Maine, this sounds like it'd be kind of fun. So
yeah, let me see.
Which state town is it?
Wait, 60 balloons?
60? Lewiston, wherever Lewiston, Maine is.
No,
So
no, that's
balloons,
cool.
right?
So that's close to Bangor. Actually, it's beautiful country out there too, mind you. The granite is absolutely phenomenal. And I'll tell you, you go a little bit out, even to some of these inlays, and you get these lobster rolls. They're phenomenal. And don't be scared if you get a lobster roll at the gas station in that type of area. Not too far, much farther inland, but in that area too. And it's not too far from Vermont where you could skip and not pay any taxes and then buy stuff and then come and party in Maine. So yeah,
I want to know one thing.
Vermont.
What are you laughing at, Wayseeker?
No, it's 60 balloons.
Wookiee's comment down here.
Oh, I thought you were laughing at how great Maine is.
No.
I wish it was 9 beers in, man. I wish. So 60 balloons? Yeah. What's the odds of one of them actually freaking plumbling to their death? Because I am not doing that shit.
It's the rise of the balloon. I skipped the word.
Yeah.
The rise.
I don't ride.
Hey, no, Venom. Watch yourself there. Get out of here, dude.
I'm not going up hundreds of feet in the air powered by something that like existed technology wise in like 18.
Hey, this ain't mayonnaise or ranch dressing, brother. This is like we don't know what this is. This is for crazy people. You know?
Yeah, Wave Seeker, and you and your
Anyway,
blue bear. You can
Star
go
Wars, hot air balloons. I'd be in if I was anywhere near there.
I'll watch them. But hey, for real though, Dom probably feels me on this one. Whenever you see him up there, you're just looking to see which one's gonna fall, right? You're like, hey, which one of these gonna get hauled and fall? And when one starts coming down, you're like, oh, this one's gonna crash, stupid people.
That one, no.
Yeah. I'm always looking to see it. It's like a train wreck. I'm waiting for one of them to crash and die.
All right. I don't know, Mark. Are you still playing Star Wars Unlimited? You got
I do. I missed last Wednesday, but I do. Yep.
All right. They got the new set.
Oh, you're
looks
good,
awesome. That they've been revealing because they got Legends characters. You got Bane and Revan and all these Legend characters that are coming to Unlimited. But they also released the STC promo card. So if you go and you just want to pick up this promo card at STCC, it's worth picking up.
I mean, Starkiller is going to be part of this.
Darth Tyrannus, and they gonna do another one of those 6-packs of the variant cards for $100 for all the cons. So SDCC, Gen Con, all that type of stuff, and it did pretty well last year.
Yeah, the problem with these now is they are like even those platinum cards or whatever we got. I didn't sell them within the first 2 weeks, and the bottom kind of buries out. The fan
not worth $100 for a while.
Yeah, there's a base level of people playing that are going to continue playing this. It's probably 1/3 of what it was, and they're steadily doing all right, but it is nowhere near the height, unfortunately. And it's a couple of problems cause their own thing. They unfortunately, I think it's more card people. You know, now having the experience of card people, I still think the majority of people that are involved in cards are just shitbags, either one way or another, and they ruin their own hobby. No, they do. They ruin their own hobby. They just do. They ruin their own hobby. They fight. The Pokemon cards. They're punching each other over vending machines.
Well,
if it's sports cards, they're scamming each other. If it's playing cards, they're over there trying to cheat to play games and win. And it just, none of it's good. They're talking shit they shouldn't talk. They're antisocial.
It's this weird cycle of stuff. So like if you're the Pokemon company, right? You kind of, in a way, you want the hype and you want it so everything's selling such hotcakes that people are fighting each other in Costco. In a way,
we did this. Venom. But, we did this for like 6 months. We showed people how to play the game open-handed, bro.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like you don't want what Star Wars Unlimited has become, which is where your playership drops off. There's very little collectability and So
I think the two things. Go ahead, JJ. I think the two big things that hurt Star Wars was on the local level, they didn't have good enough people regulating what was going on, and then in their regionals, as you may have heard, there was a lot of shady stuff going on, like guys yelling at store owners coming in there and yelling at referees and kind of scamming their way to the top of boards, and it really just gave a bad look during Galactics, and they didn't.
I think
that's part of the atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll put it this way: Star Wars Unlimited's biggest problem has been and probably still is, and I think Wayseeker said this even before the game came out originally, is that his biggest problem is going to be that it's a fantasy flight, which means they don't run stuff very well.
No,
especially in the long run of things. So
Marco is kind of right. Outside of like the big games, like Lorcana's having all these same issues, and their tournament stuff is horrible. So outside of like the big people that know how to run tournaments, it is a crap show. It just is.
Yeah, I mean, and you're starting to see the fall off, and then too. And to be honest with you, but I think it's part of the culture of cards. Like it just like it may. I mean, sports isn't much better. I'm dealing with that crap all the time. Like
it's hard for anything outside the big 3 card games to really get a foothold and exist, to be honest, on a lengthy level.
Well, they switched too. You got to remember they switched from Fantasy Flight or something to Melee, or from Amade to Melee, and like they didn't even have programs that were running right in the beginning. Or
well,
hopefully it picks up.
The financial problems is Modi and all that.
Yeah. Hopefully it picks up when they need to do thing out.
That's all right. SDCC though, because
we might put, if the other guys want to do it again, I'll do it again. Just probably not in summertime. Probably after we get out of sports season stuff.
All right. This thing is awesome. This is a Polish company. On May the 4th, they revealed a new Star Wars inspired hover bike. This thing goes
somebody's gonna die on this shit.
Miles per hour. It goes high up in the air too.
People are gonna be dying on this shit. People are gonna be dying.
This thing, it weighs like 60 pounds.
Oh, they're dying.
The bike. You crash dead.
Oh yeah.
They hit nice redwood tree. The gun.
It's a third. It's a third of a weight of a motorcycle.
Hey, it's like
like Ewoks on Andor.
Remember back in the late '80s, they had it was front wheel 3-wheelers. Was it front wheel or back wheel? It was the front wheel ones, right? No, the back wheel ones. There's 2 up front, 1 in back, and if you braked on it, your fucking 3-wheeler flip over and kill you. That's what this is right here.
Note that on the test drive here, they're like,
but it looks
awesome. On the test drive here, they're on like open land where they can't possibly.
They'll start playing the song "Dumb Ways to Die."
Yeah. How much one of these things cost though? I'm probably gonna buy one.
Come soon. TBD. I'll keep
you
updated.
Can I get it over water too?
It's gonna be
shit. I'll be taking this bitch all over
all over the water. You can go over water.
Back to the Future.
Oh hell yeah! I'm buying one of these. Let me see how much. If this thing is under, if it's like $20,000, I'll buy it.
It might be.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. I don't. Can we get insurance for it though? Like, is this?
I have no idea about that. I don't know.
Wait, hold on. Wait, pause. Before I say that, as long as I can get insurance and be on one of these, like if I die on it and stuff, I'm good.
If I get some space pesos or yen, something like that.
If this voids my life insurance,
dude, you should watch some of these videos. They are awesome. Like I said, some of these things go like 15 feet in the air. They were driving these things.
Oh man, dude, I'll be tuning all over the place. On the problem is what happens when when it cuts out in the middle of the water and it just sinks and you just lost 20 grand.
You're done.
But it'd be funny. That shit would be funny.
And become your best friends.
Huh? It would be.
A bunch of sharks become your best friend.
They don't have sharks on inland lake.
Michigan.
Oh, I did Michigan. Some water.
I live on an inland lake. There's no fucking sharks.
Whatever, man. You got some kind of freaking in deep predator, some shit going on over there.
No. A snapping turtle? We're working on for snapping turtles.
Hey, don't freaking goddamn sleep on snapping turtles. Those bastards.
No, I don't put my fingers in them or my dick, so I don't have to worry about it.
What's gonna happen if you go over the water and you fall in the water? They're gonna get you. There you go.
Yeah. Anyway, these things look awesome.
Yeah. Dude, you know what's coming, Venom? Decapitation. Oh yeah, this is on its way.
No doubt.
Dude, could you imagine the form you have to fill out just to buy one?
Oh, I won't
use it. Dude, I guarantee you in the paperwork, we should see what the paperwork says because I guarantee it says, I will not fly this thing. I won't use it. I won't go above 5 miles per hour. Dude, I bet you got all this wild shit.
I'm assuming with baby shoes.
We got Revenge of the 5th merch revealed this week. We got these new Revenge of the Sith Crocs.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
We do.
Not us. Not me.
Not us. Not me. I don't wear that shit. I don't wear Crocs. I told
you. You know Ruben's buying these.
So when you've officially given up on life, you can also have it Star Wars themed now.
Listen, I'm sorry, but people aren't tough wearing Crocs. I can tell you
these are $80.
No, I don't even understand. They don't look comfortable. Like I wear recovery slides inside the house. Don't get me wrong. I wear Hoka recovery slides to help out my back and my hips. But like, I sometimes debate, like, should I wear them outside? I just don't want to be a scumbag and wear slides outside. But, like, I don't understand. These don't look comfortable. Like, have you ever picked one up before?
They're rubber. They're like solid rubber.
Yeah, but it's like shit rubber. It's like somebody took a car tire and they recycled it into one of these.
My niece wears these dumb things. I hate these Crocs.
They don't fit.
They're not that bad.
You're not buying this for $1. Wait, what? So wait,
would you say this is what you would wear when you've lost the will to live?
What's up with these small sneakers? What's these small sneakers? What is it? Dick shoes?
And then they have the small mini shoes, the collectibles. These are $25.
Those are collectibles. Why are those?
I mean, they're literally like this big. They're like mini shoes, collectibles.
So $25 for that.
Why?
I don't know why. That's what they came out with. You got the collectibles. Why does Dom buy the stuff you buy? Why do people buy those stupid mini marshmallow thingies that Dom always talks about? Who knows?
Are they like Labubus?
You know Ruben's gonna buy these shoes, these mini collectible shoes, $25.
That's just stupid.
So
hold on, Wookiee Fanatic. Let me address this issue. Why would I spend $20K on that thing when I only buy keys out of dollar bins? Listen. If somebody's going to sell it for $1, I'm buying. Nobody's going to sell that thing for under $20,000. I'm just not about paying overvalue. Like if they were like, "Hey, it's a $20,000 airspeeder, and we're going to charge $60,000," I'm not going to get that. I'll wait till it's back to $20,000. You know what I mean? I'm just never overpaying for anything. So, all right, go ahead.
Anyway, so yeah, you can get these mini shoes and you can get these Crocs. The Crocs I think are $80, and like I said, the mini shoes are $25.
Yeah. Why do people buy this stuff? Why do people like Blue Bears? I don't know. I don't know either question, Dwight. You find out the answer, let me know.
I don't understand Destiny 2, but Destiny 2 is getting a Star Wars expansion. This is not skin. This is not anything like that. It is a whole Star Wars expansion. So all content. So whatever. If you want Destiny 2, you can pick up.
How old is Destiny 2?
Oh, freaking old, dude. PlayStation 4? Like early, like mid-early PlayStation 4?
3? PlayStation 3?
It's old.
No, I don't think it was. The PlayStation 3 would have had the original Destiny. So Destiny 2, I think, came out 4.
Tom does balance me out. He does the exact
opposite. That's old.
So anyway, you can pick up the whole expansion coming out later this year. I don't know anything about that game. All right, this is for Dom right here. A UK fan creates a mouse-sized Star Wars village for his mouse. The Star Wars fan from the UK's name is Simon Dell. You can follow him on Instagram. His mouse is named George. And his mouse just runs around and picks up lightsabers and plays with Star Wars figures in this like Star Wars enclosure that he has for his mouse.
And he's in his mom's basement, collects little people's clothes, and he needs help.
It's pet mice, apparently.
Dude, he's a big fan. I mean, he's making good money on Instagram because there's a lot of followers there.
Yeah, he's probably killing it. I was actually like, I'm probably gonna check this shit out. I mean, I hate mice.
House or whatever looks like it came out.
This is the thing. People who do stupid shit get better freaking goddamn views and people followers on their freaking Instagram than people who do actually good stuff.
Wayseeker?
This is dumb shit.
Why Wayseeker?
This is awesome. I watched this guy on Instagram.
No, that's not what I'm asking.
I know why.
What I'm telling you is you could have just said it, but then no, Wayseeker, stop with your bullshit.
You called him out on the first thing.
Yeah, you could have just there would have been shit, but you had to be an asshole, Wayseeker. You had to set him up on it. You took a nice story that Dom would have been like, oh, this is cool. This guy's out here doing some shit.
Story.
And you had a fucking.
Nice. You see,
the first time he said it, he's like, oh, that's cool. And you heard him say, oh, that's cool. If you rewind the tape, and then you took it and you twisted the screws on him.
He wears a hat that has a C on it for cunt. There you go, man.
And then now this is what we're getting out of him. Why, Wayseeker? You're a piece of shit in that dirty ass white t-shirt. Here, Wayseeker, buy a shirt with a fucking collar on it and come here every once in a while and act like an adult human being and stop trolling him like that.
Nobody acts like an adult on this panel. Nobody.
You are the worst though. Like he was doing, like let the guy. He's already head is fucking burnt. He's lying about it, which is causing his blood pressure to go up, which is causing his face to be more fucking red. And what do you do down there in that dirty, stinky white t-shirt? Yeah. No surprise you like the Cleveland Indians. Because you know what shitbags just wear white undershirts all day long? People from Ohio. Okay, let's go. Move on. You ruined this story.
It's such a cool thing. Check them out on Instagram. It's a lot of fun. That is the week in Star Wars.
Jeez. Thank you, the 4 Deadly Venom.
Don't fuck with special need people. What is the boys are all right. The boys are. Hey, look, the boys have got it way better than us because all they do is watch wrestling, stare at women's titties, and like hang out all day. So don't act like those special needs people got it wrong. They got it all going on, and they get to eat desserts all fucking day.
See what you started with here.
Yeah. Yeah, on Mother's Day. On Mother's Day, Dom.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Jesus.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed this last week of Tales from the Dark Side. We won't be
3 hours. Airboy's just going 3 hours. Great. I don't have enough hair left for 3 more hours of this shit. Get out of here.
Drops the C word and then insults people with special needs.
IG full time. Right there.
Thank you, Steve. I heard the guy was
with mice.
We had mice. Yeah.
Fuck. He likes the gerbil.
Fucking hell. Stop. Lacey. Hey, the guy might have special needs now. Now you're saying the guy's got special needs, and you're saying you're telling gerbil jokes, Dom, after you dropped the C word. Like, you gotta control it, man. You dropped the C word on Mother's Day. Lacey, fuck you. Fuck
it's like
you.
last night. It's like last night watching the
fuck
wrestling
you.
show.
Fuck no, Dom. Fuck everybody right now. We're not talking about anything. Move on. All right.
This is the end of democracy.
Let's get into
this is why
Andor. Holy shit! I need to go get a drink. I'll be back.
You
guys can do what you want. You can start the book review or get into Andor. I'll be back.
We'll do Andor.
Oh my god, man!
All right, JJ, walk us through Andor.
All right. Let's do something productive other than evaluate people that raise mice in basements. Andor season 2, episodes 7 through 9, and oh boy.
Oh man.
Just like the I guess third arc, if you want to call that, of the first season was probably the most pivotal one. You see it again in this arc of this.
My God, man, this was cinema at its best, man. Holy shit!
I'll try to take us through it. I did the slides a little bit different. I spread the pictures out a little bit more so you guys can see them better. I'll still give a recap. If you guys want to chime in with something, stop me and let me know. But I'm also going to time you all to like 3 minutes so we don't have like an hour and 45-minute review. And yes, episode 8 will take a little bit longer than the other 2 episodes. All right. So we start off with our year-long skip that we're used to now at this point, with Will showing up at the Yavin base. And it turns out Andor and Bix have settled down. They have their own little, I guess, encampment outside of the rebel encampment. They're happy to see Will. But Andor is also a little bit suspicious that Will has just kind of like showed up all of a sudden like a prodigal son out of nowhere. And it turns out he's right because Will is trying to recruit him to go on a mission for Luthen, which is weird. You kind of thought Will ended up with Saul at the end of the last thing, but I guess that kind of fell by the wayside. And then we get the Imperial side of things for a little bit. So we get Deidre Mero talking with Pendergast.
Hate that guy.
What's going on? And you get our new character here, Captain Kaido, who's kind of introduced as the hard ass that is going to kind of be the thorn in Deidre Mero's side. He doesn't seem like he has very much respect for Deidre. He just kind of is there to fulfill his orders of what he needs to do on Gorman. And then you have Deidre, who hints at that she's still trying to hide everything from Cyril. Cyril's still trying to play the double agent, but he's beginning to get suspicious that there's stuff going on that they're basically keeping from him. They're not allowing him to see evidence and things like that. And then we bounce back to the Senate where we get Mon is basically being approached by the assemblyman from Gorman and told that things are getting really bad on Gorman. So flash to Gorman, where we end up with the Resistance. The Resistance is kind of split. There's 2 factions to it now. There's the hardliner faction that insists that there must be violent resistance or no resistance at all. And then the mayor who's kind of leading this, I don't know if he's the mayor. I don't know if we ever figured it out, but Gorman politician guy that is leading the more peaceful resistance. He thinks that a violent resistance will only basically bring the Empire down upon them. And then we end up with this guy has now, I guess, kind of become the de facto leader there in the middle who, I don't know if anybody caught his name. I don't remember it off the top of my head now. But he's basically says it doesn't really matter as long as you resist. It doesn't matter if it's peaceful or not. I just need people to resist. And we end up with, what do you guys think of this scene? So I got to get other people's analysis on this, because this was a little bit of a controversial take on the from some people on the interwebs. But you get a scene where Bix has taken Andor to a force healer, which turns out that was basically a cook in the mess hall. But she's there to look at a wound on Andor that seems refused to heal, and immediately she recognizes that something's different about Andor, that she feels like he was basically called to do something for a bigger purpose. And not that he's a Jedi or anything. The implication was that people thought, oh, well, this lady's a Jedi or that Andor's a Jedi. I don't think it's anything like that. I think she kind of has the sense of the Force.
Yeah.
But is not like a Jedi necessarily. And it doesn't mean Andor has any kind of weird Force powers either. It's just she thinks that Andor has a destiny to fulfill type of thing.
So yeah, don't you have the feeling like the Wills?
A little bit, yeah.
What? Just some Force.
Well, no, like they're like kind of like the priest walking around, has some Force power. Some of them are more sensitive to other things. Some of the Wills could do healing like that. Like if you look at the lore of it and stuff like that, they're like kind of like healing monks and stuff like that. You know, I think some of them were warrior monks too. I get that, but like I think that's kind of how I took it. Very Willish, like.
I mean, to me, this set up the Chirrut stuff in Rogue One.
Yeah.
If Andor would never have been healed by this woman, he would never have believed Chirrut later, because he is so skeptical about the Force here, and he's not so skeptical about.
Wait, I'm sorry. What organization was he part of?
The Wills.
That's the Wheels. The Wheels. But I don't think they're the same organization.
No, it's it. She's just.
No, I meant feeling. I didn't say organization. I said feeling.
Well, I don't know, but I think this was just setting up that scene from Rogue One,
like the Han Solo type of thing. He didn't believe in the mumbo jumbo type of thing until he actually sees it. That
yeah. Well, so his skepticism is imparted by his mom, by Marva, because he actually even says that. He's like, you're lucky Marva wasn't here. She hated people like Force healers and stuff, because according to him, Force healers were, sham artists, more or less.
Yeah.
According to his mom. So I think the most interesting aspect here plays into a little bit into what Chirrut and the Wills and stuff like that. But then, and to explain the Wills more in depth real fast, the Wills were basically people that were basically guardians.
Hold on. Remember the guy that was blind and had the stick?
Chirrut,
and there was the other, Chirrut, and there's the I know that. And there's the other guy who had the big gun, and his name was Blaze. So Chirrut and Blaze were part of this organization called the WHI.
And they're like guardians of
the Wills.
Yeah. I'm one with the Force is one with me.
Yeah. But I think the interesting part is, like, almost out of the blue, you get to see Bix's kind of deeper belief in something. Where we left her off last time, there was that. There was the
made
fact
her
that,
decision.
She had she had, at the end of the last 3 episodes, basically we saw her kill the doctor, run off, and that was kind of like what repaired, I guess, her psyche in a way. But here you've seen it evolve into the fact that now she believes both kind of, or at least it's starting to believe in the rebellion and in the Force of all things.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that kind of shows the good writing too, right? Like she went to the bottom. Most times when you find a lot of people,
I
think Wayseeker and myself can attest this. There's a lot of people you find in common faith. That's what I'm saying about this is, like, I think that's what Star Wars always is about, like multiple things and sticking to those basic guidelines. And one of them is, like, you see a lot of people find faith when they find their lowest points, and her lowest points were those nightmares and everything else. And now you see her switch over, which is, it's phenomenal writing. This is what they're doing is great. So,
the controversial part was people were upset that that they have introduced the Jedi and stuff into Andor now.
But is that a Jedi? It's a Force healer.
I know. I'm just telling you.
I got one. Okay, I got one comment for that. Who gives a fuck? I don't know any of those people. I don't know a single one of them. Never heard that. Don't care. I just don't care.
Yeah.
Who cares? Go ahead.
We try to find fault in everything, man. So
I agree with Dom.
Yep, I agree. And next morning we get a familiar face. It's General Draven. So you get to see him in Rogue One frequently as the general, kind of in charge or partially in charge, at least, of the Yavin base. So he shows up here. He is in charge of things now for the rebellion, and he's actually a little bit upset that Andor is skirting his duties, because Andor has decided to take Will up on his offer to go to Gorman and find out more about Deidre and potentially take her out.
And if you want to see more of him, I'm sorry, if you want to see more of him, he dies a miserable death against Vader. Vader kills him in the comic book.
Thank you, Dom.
Oh, I'm just saying, I did the comic. It's just
where you can watch Rogue One and also
people watch. He dies after Rogue One. Vader kills him.
Back on Gorman, we get introduced to Sergeant Bly, who is bringing a bunch of new, fresh recruits that Deidre's not happy about because they are basically children, which they are, which is
purposefully.
Purposely for a reason that they are green and can be used. And we get Vel visiting with Bix, and she kind of is there to convince. Actually, she's been sent by Draven, and we get a General Dodonna name drop as well.
We got a bunch
Vel
of
to visit with Bix that she needs to convince Andor and herself to be all in on the rebellion. That was her purpose of being there. And we get Andor arriving in Gorman. He ends up with the same hotel clerk who remembers him, but also slyly does not tell him or blow his cover that he's there, but basically tells him that the Imperials are watching everything that they do in logging everyone in.
This guy.
And we get to see a little more of Will's side chick. It becomes the fact that she is kind of leaning more towards the strong arm part of the resistance, and they're both she and Will work the radio, so it becomes an interesting fact later on, but not so much for this. But the very end of the episode comes with Andor realizing that there's much more security on Gorman than he was originally told. They got there. Will kind of just told him, Deidre's there. They're doing some funny stuff. But he gets there, and there's even stormtroopers on the roofs. Everything's being watched. There's a lot of activity in the square. So something is going down.
Yeah, the
more
voice was cool.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that's the point, and you saying too. I think all the Bellboy stuff was done very well. Just how all that stuff was shot, how everything was good, how he heard the voices and decided, I'm going to look up there. Like, that's all real. Like, Dedham says here, facts, real life, right? Like, I think that was kind of the thing we're seeing here is like incorporating that. I understand it's in a galaxy far, far away. I understand it's sci-fi fantasy, but Star Wars is the best when it feels real life, right? And there's a lot of things here. Like, dude, you can just go to a lot of events in history and currently where they do. Like, if they take the young guys, the young draftees, recruits, and they send them out there to get slaughtered. I mean, it's happening now. Like, it's happening in these last 5 years. Like, this is not stuff.
I was going to say, without getting into the political specifics of it, it's very much a World War II thing again, right?
Yeah, well, it's a Vietnam thing. It's a Russia versus Ukraine thing.
But I mean, in this case, you're sending them out with the purposeful intention that they end up, being fodder.
Oh yeah, because then it can start the war. But you see that a lot. Like, that's how you drive nationalism, right? Like, you do it by, look, they're killing our youth, right? And that's just how politicians, no matter what country they're from, what era they're from, they do it all the time. They take on the working man's kids and kill them. That's what they do. So it's very good. I mean, it's not good that they do that, but they did a lot of good stuff there. And the belt, to bring up both Dom said it and Venom, how they did that, the bellhop / front desk guy, and how he played it up. It was great, man. Like, they did. It's very thoughtful writing. It is, and that's the problem I think I have. I think when people say, like, oh, well, Star Wars is always trying to push a message or agenda. Yeah, shit, they always have. But it's how they do it, right? And this is one where people don't have a problem, but they're doing the same thing. They're doing the same thing they always do. And they're doing a good job at it. You just have to make it part of, that's where you have to make the fantasy part of Star Wars work, right? And damn, did they kill that last episode, man. That last episode, they murdered it, bro.
To me, this is the evolution of Andor the spy too, because he even has this James Bond kit now, where he's got the special rifle and he's got the rifle to, invent. Like, I mean, so like he's now gone full like spy kit Andor. Like, he's slicker with his undercover personality. Like, when somebody.
But it's not just that. You know what he also is? He's more cautious.
Yeah,
he's cautiously aggressive, which is something. Remember, he was aggressive before, not so cautious.
Yeah,
went to jail actually. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because he's fucking around and finding out. But now he's kind of like, hey man, he kind of had a shot. is an iffy shot, though. You know what I mean? We're not gonna take the iffy shot. We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait. Hey, he used to just run in to go save people. Okay, my young man friend here. Pause. The guy that I'm here.
Just pause with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, whatever. That dude Will was there, and he wanted to make sure he took care of him. That doesn't sound good either.
But, no, you just need to stop.
But he did. Okay, I'm gonna give you.
You've had 9 beers. Tom's had 9 beers. We're clearly.
I'm giving that one up.
The dynamic with Will. The dynamic with Will was so interesting because, although they're happy to see Will, obviously very initially, Andor also knows that Will. The only reason Will has come there, more or less, is to draw them into something, and he's worried about Will too. And the fact that he asks Will over and over again, "What have you been doing for Luthen?
Right?
What have you been doing? What have you been?"
Do you think he was kind of at the thing, feeling out if he needs to cut ties with Will? If it comes down to it between Bix and Will, he was seeing. I think he's going to be easier for me to cut ties with Will.
Well, I think partly, but I also think it's a little bit. I think at least in this first episode, he knows Luthen by now, and he knows that Luthen doesn't have any problem sacrificing somebody,
right? Okay,
like a pawn, and I think he doesn't want Will to be that pawn that gets sacrificed by Luthen. I think.
There's
and
so
I think
much
that's also
episode that makes me wonder. I wish this had a whole season. Andor and Luthen clearly had some sort of falling out at some point.
Mm-hmm. He tried to get Bix to do something.
But then he
bro, that you don't understand.
He repaired the relationship by doing that mission with Bix. Where
hold on. No.
There was something else that happened.
No. You go behind. Wayseeker, you go behind a dude's back.
But listen,
his old lady.
Also, his shoulder. A year ago, he got hit in the shoulder. His shoulder was hurting. He could almost die. The mission on the, he wants to spend his life with Bix, and that's the thing, and that's more in his mind. He wants to get out of this game. He wants a quiet life.
I still think something happened, and I mean,
he went. Dude, once again, Wayseeker, Wayseeker, if some dude comes up to try to put your wife in danger behind your back, sends you for a mission, tries to put your wife in danger, nah, bro.
I still think there's something else. I don't know. But and then there's also how does Will get back with Luthen? There's so much of the story that I would love to have fleshed out. And I hope they fleshed out.
Well, listen, he hung out with Saw Gerrera and he came back. That's the thing. Freaking Andor doesn't know what he did with Saw
Gerrera.
He don't know that.
With Saw, but he could have stayed with Saw.
Who, Will?
No, but he left.
Will's young, in love, and full of whatever. He don't give a shit, bro. Until he gets to Will. Will. Why is Will? Are we asking why Will's not the last season?
No, Will left the girl.
Hold on. Oh, stop, guys. You guys are all talking at one time. Are we asking why Will's the way he is? That dude just got something for the first time. Bro,
he had the girl. He had the girl in the first arc.
Yeah, the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, but he didn't get enough for her. She was a farm girl, wasn't giving it up.
Yeah, he got
this chick. He went to France and he found love. If you know what I mean, Flavor Flav style, bro.
No, I mean, it's good storytelling, but it makes me want to know more. I mean, I think that's probably will about it. They love
that you want to know more.
He's got to die, mate. Luthen's got to die. Mate.
Look, I think Luthen's gonna die the next arc because it's still.
You think everybody's gonna die?
We'll get to the conversation later on where in episode 9 where that gets alluded to, maybe. So we'll see.
I thought this was good because of the tension that kept rising here and how they did it. Especially after he landed and started going, you see it and you're going, damn, Will, that snatch isn't worth dying for, right? And then you see I really think the smart that just how, because in the compound here, it's my house is very tall. So in the compound, you can hear stuff too a lot. And we can see stuff people can't see us out here. So there's places in my house where that Luthen thing where he hears noises and you hear that white just how they shot those scenes to make it like that. And then him find out where the sound's coming from and then decide to crack the door a little bit to hear, just the detail and how this stuff was shot. That's why when Wayseeker's well, it costs the same as the first one. No, the production is way better because of the small things they're doing here, right? They might not be building 50,000 scenes, even though they rebuilt Paris and Star Wars. But shit, dude, just how to get those production levels right where you're doing stuff like that, the rewrites and the takes that have to be just to get those scenes to look well. The bellhop back and forth, delivering lines perfectly. I mean, just flawless. Like, it is flawless. And I know JJ said that, like, whatever I said, nothing's perfect. Yeah, this ain't perfect episode by any stretch of the imagination, but it's as perfect as it's gonna get. It was damn good. It is Wizard, man. It is Wizard. Okay, good. Silent air after that's great. You guys talk over each other the whole show.
You just
I
want
would
to
concur with that assessment.
Can't help it.
It is most definitely
Poor
Wizard.
Jack to sleep too.
I don't know that the only downside of this episode is that I think it started off, but I think you have to start off each arc the way they did. I agree with Wayseeker in the fact that I want to know kind of more about what happened in the lead up into this thing, but in order to cover all this ground they have to cover, there's going to be gaps. And I don't really think those gaps are that important. And after about 10 minutes of rolling in the show, I wasn't even worried about it. I didn't care. Like, I didn't care what happened in that year-long gap. I didn't even care how he hurt his shoulder. Like, his shoulder's hurt. We don't know how it got hurt, but I don't care really. And I think that's good that I don't care because, I don't necessarily need to have this like desire to know what happened. So I'm not going to take any points off for that. I think the whole thing was Wizard. I'll let somebody else take it from there as far as what they.
Dom, I want to hear your insight on this episode.
All right, I really, I know it's. I want to see more. I do want to see more because it's interesting to see what the year goes by and what we've been up to get to that point. But the whole chemistry between Bix and Andor, I really like it. I really enjoy that their love for each other, but also their love for the for the rebellion, and Bix, where she came from to where she is now, and where Andor came from where he is now. And when she brought him to the Force Healer, and the Force Healer says, "I know you. You're like a messenger, this and that." It brought tears to my eyes because he got the Death Star plans. That was his mission. He sacrificed himself to for Luke to destroy the friggin' Death Star. So shit like those little details that they talk about really make it special. And I really, I'm telling you, I was sitting here and I had tears in my eyes the entire 3 episodes, man. And this is what I love about Star Wars. I love the realism that they put into it to make it to where it is. Yes, everything that people don't like about certain things in Star Wars, yes, it's in it, but it's the way you write it to put it in, the way you weave it into the story that doesn't make it. That's the focal point. But this episode, it's 100% Wizard for me because I do like the fact that he doesn't believe in the Force. He doesn't believe of its special calling, and he is basically a chosen one, not Anakin, but a chosen one, a messenger to lead to the next piece of Star Wars history that makes the rebels victorious over the Empire. And these little things to get to that point really, really get to my heart, and I really love Tony Gilroy's storytelling and how he makes you feel for these characters. And it's just amazing how you can feel for a bunch of characters you never met before, with the exception of ones that were in Andor, that you really want more, and you want to know why certain things with Will. How did he leave? Saw Gerrera. He came back. What mission did he? All these little things are very. It's not important now, but it will be important later because maybe down the road they'll do a book, they'll do a magazine, they'll do something that's going to bring some of the stories in for some of these characters. But
maybe they won't. Who cares?
I'm telling you, man.
Can I tell you? I disagree with one point you said.
What?
You said that he doesn't believe in the Force. I don't think that's true. I think it's actually even more complicated to that. And I think it's great that you said that, though, because here's the deal. I think I think that it shows that little concept of where your parent tells you something that isn't right, but you've been told it this whole time and they've passed away and you don't want to disrespect them by going against what they said.
Their beliefs.
But at the same time, you don't technically believe what they said. And I think when you saw that healer thing, you saw like that's where I'm telling you, and you kind of said it already, like that key detail ship. Like I see it all the time with kids and even adults nowadays whose parents have passed away. We're giving them advice and dealing with certain situations. Like you could tell sometimes they're like holding back, or the regurgitation of what they say compared to how their actions are depicting. They're repeating something not even because they believe it, because their parent has passed away, or their grandparent or whatever, and they don't want to disrespect what they were saying. And I feel that's kind of how that was with when he brings up, and that's why he specifically brings up the point. Well, my mom, thank God she's not here right now, because if she was here, he didn't say I don't believe in the Force. He goes, thank God she's not here.
The whole fact is that I believe he might believe in the Force, but I believe that he's type of like Han Solo. Like I said before, Han Solo didn't believe in none of that stuff. All that stuff. And then look,
I think it was different because Han Solo was just some dude that life had him so far down.
But then you get like Obi-Wan, you get like what's his name, who played the trickster, Jedi, that he was he was scamming people. So I understand certain things, and you have all this stuff that's going on, and people not believing. But you're right, part of it probably did believe, but. And it is about.
But that's where I think it's crafty. That's where I think the writing is just crafty.
I think the writing is superb, man. The writing is on par, and that's what makes this story so compelling. That you can write each character.
Dude, we voted. He said wizard. I said wizard. Waysinger. What are you talking about? What do you got, Waysinger?
Waysinger hasn't voted yet.
You just said it was wizard too. You said it was the best ever, dude. And then Venom's like, "Oh man, you guys are talking too much about the best episode ever."
I'll call this just below wizard. It was the weakest of the three. And I wanted to reflect that. So
okay, fair.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Yeah, because the first part of this was slow. I
will say this. I'll get to the volume thing in the next episode, as far as what it could and couldn't do, and all that a little bit more.
I'm okay with.
So everybody's in wizard. Well, wizard Waysinger's just below wizard. I'm kind of with him.
There's no below wizard. He's just being a jackass. All right, what do we got next?
He's kind of with me. He's not wizard. He's whiz. There you go.
Whiz, yeah. Just whiz.
Whiz.
So we jump into episode 8. Andor and Will both awake the next morning, with Andor waking up and seeing something going on in the square and almost immediately assessing that ain't right, so to speak. And they notices them putting a barricade, talks to Will. Will claims that they don't know anything about it. And the rebels the resistance on Gorman is all excited because they're opening up the plaza and they're going to take back the plaza. Andor immediately sees it for what it is, which is a trap for these idiot resistance fighters to go in there. And he even tells Will they're not opening up anything; they're building a fortress to hold you all in there. And then we get the dichotomy, I guess you would say, between father and daughter here. The daughter has kind of now become the leader of the resistance, and even the more hardliner part of the resistance, I guess. And the father is basically also, like Andor, spotted the barricades and everything going up and spotted it for what it is, which is basically to entrap the resistance and make them look like the aggressors. So they both rightfully call it out, but neither one can stop it. We even get the father finding Cyril on Cyril's way to the square, confronting him. Cyril chokes somebody for about the first time 3 times this episode. This is his first choking incident. There's a lot of Cyril-related choking in this episode, but you get Cyril, who basically denies that he means them any ill will, which I don't know how on earth he thinks that. He's basically undermining their whole resistance operation. But Cyril, I think, sees himself, and this is the first conversation where you see the real big crack, because the guy tells him, like, why are all these mining ships here? Like, they're here, everybody's here for a reason, and it's not because of what you think it is or what you've been telling us. And I think Cyril, in a way, was, and you guys can weigh in on this too, but I think Cyril, in a way, was leading the resistance along, but also in his own way, at least in his own mind, meting out justice. I think he thinks he's right. Right?
No,
I think it's something,
even though he's going about it in this weird double agent way, he thinks he's right.
I don't I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Dab.
No, I was just saying the fact that I think that he didn't realize what was going on. He didn't know about the mining stuff.
Yes,
yeah. He was Deidre friggin' held a lot of secrets. That's why
I don't think that's what it is.
No, but also I think as time went on, a year went by, he started liking these people. He started liking the way of life. He felt he started changing his ways, but at the same time,
I don't think so.
dude,
I don't think he changed at all. I think he's.
I don't think that's
he actually. I think he was falling for the daughter, for the father's daughter.
Hold on. I think.
Come on, Dom.
I think. Hold on.
Dom,
I think it's. If I can.
Go ahead.
I think he's actually been exactly the same every time. He was ambitious. He had to believe a storyline. He believed every story. He then had to start telling himself that he was doing things to keep, like, I'm doing the best for these people. I'm doing the best for the Empire. And you see this. This is how some good people fall into cults, fall into nationalist traps. They're not bad people. They don't mean to do bad things. But he says it over. I think the line you guys are missing is, I was going for the outside agitator. Now this is a technique that's used multiple times. It's used in marketing. Yeah. It's definitely used when you see dictatorships. Like, they use these things to, like, hey, here's the person to blame. That's who we're going. They make all these imaginary people who are, we talked about the other day, pets or whatever. They're banning something about fucking people who cosplay going bathrooms, and it never happened. It's not there, but it's a ghost. It's somebody that you can be mad at, and he's like, I'm getting rid of the pooper in the guy that's dressed in the cat suit pooping in the bathroom. There's nobody doing that. No, they want you to get rid of all the people. You want to shut down the bathroom in the first place, and he's telling this guy, I'm getting rid of outside agitators. I'm just trying to make the best society. I'm important now because I'm helping you. I want to be a hero. Dom, there's millions of people that are sitting at home right now saying, I'm going to do this because I'm going to be the hero. If I just go out there and they think they're going to be a hero. This guy thought he was going to be a hero when really he's just a fucking nobody moron. He's not special. He's just like everybody else, and he got used just like everybody else. And that's when he starts cracking, and that's when he starts choking people, because then he realizes, and the only person who didn't use him was his girlfriend, and he choked that bitch out anyways.
Oh, she used him.
Hold on. Stop. Listen. She
spoiling the rest of the episode.
She didn't use him like the other people did.
Oh, she totally used him.
No. She actually believed they were in love. She believed they were in love, but hold on. Would you stop?
No, because you're so wrong.
Wayseeker, you don't know shit. You hate Santa Claus. They had the same life goals. Okay, she was pushing him for the same life goals, she thought. But apparently they had the same life goals. Well, he just thought that he was going to do, because she's doing stuff. You see her. She does stuff she's uncomfortable in. Perfect example. The guy who we see right here makes her call that thing down. She doesn't want to do that. She just has more balls than he does.
That's the worst that you had.
No, guys, she does.
No, let me tell you something. Deidre used Cyril.
I still haven't even got to talk about this part.
Go ahead.
So Cyril, Marco was right about Cyril for the most part. Cyril only cares about one thing, and that's order. And he thinks the Empire is only about order.
No, he wants to be the hero.
I don't think he cares about that at all. He wants order. He wants things to be tidy and perfect.
He wants to be important. No, he 100% wants to be important. The whole mom thing.
Just let me talk, Marco.
No, because you're saying nonsense.
He wants order, and so he thinks the Empire is all about order. And here he is at the end seeing that the Empire really just wants chaos. And that's what just freaks him out, because he thought, I don't want to do anything. The whole plot is to bring more order to Gore. And that's what he's been taught. That's all he cares about. And everything that he does is order. And then he finds out the Empire just really wants chaos. And that's why he does everything he does, because everything that they've told him has just been a lie, and now he doesn't know what to do.
But here's what you're missing. His mindset is order is the way to accelerate. I believe in this cause of order, and the more I push the order cause, the higher up the train I will go. And what you catch with Deirdre is you see her a couple times where she's like, well, I don't want it. I get it. We don't want to do this, but it's going to give us to the position where we want to be. It's not where I want to be. She really does. She's psycho and ugly as dog shit, but she really does like this psycho ugly dog shit do too. And she tries to use what she's doing to say, at least I'm taking care of him, and that's what I want to do. Her relationship with him absolutely mirrors Andor's relationship with Bix. And if you don't see it, then I can't help your fucking ass. It 100% does.
Look,
all right, it does, but I'm going to hold fire on why I think Marco's wrong on at least half of that
please
stuff.
try,
until
but
the relevant scene here in a little bit. So I'm going to hold fire. For now, we're going to move on. After these two confront each other, we see Kaido confronting Deidre Miro. Kaido basically out and out tells Deidre Miro that he doesn't respect her and that he's here to cause all the chaos on Gorman, and she's just there to basically give an order and stay the hell out of his way. That's what he tells her, in not so many words. But
right, and I think that proves my point. Yeah, I do. Well, I think that's where.
Just stop. Let you just go so you can get to the point where you can talk further.
Yeah. So we get an interesting action again with the hotel guy. By the way, the hotel guy was like my favorite character for these two episodes. You get the very familiar line, "Rebellions are built on hope." When Andor
I had a tear in my eye for that, man. That was awesome how that was brought up, man. And just, I'm telling you, this episode was
dude,
great.
If you kept the tears inside, you would have got so burned in the sun today because you would have been more hydrated.
Dude, listen, let me tell you something.
That's his allergies, by the way.
My allergies do freaking act up. Yo,
I immediately recognize the line.
Take that cunt hat off.
That stop. Go ahead. Oh God, her face sucks.
So then we evolve into the next scene. We get Andor has now made his way out onto the square. Cyril has arrived at the square as well, and Deidre is overlooking the square. All three of which have different minds. Andor is basically just wondering what's going on. He's actually trying to get out. He turns back and goes back. I think that was because he couldn't get out. I couldn't tell if he turned back to try to find Will, or if he turned back because he couldn't get out of the square because there was all the soldiers.
He was trying to call Will. I think he was trying to get Will too. But the fact is that something big was happening, and when he started seeing the troopers close everybody in. Yeah.
So he ends up kind of camping out on the square. Cyril arrives, and like I said, Deidre's kind of overseeing everything. Andor has a shot, or realizes that Deidre's there for the first time too when he's out on the square. So he sees her and very covertly with his rifle sight sees that he may still have a shot at killing her. The reason why he was there. Cyril gets contained in a very funnily or very hilariously, at least, in a room with K2SOs with one very observant K2 or KX.
No, they're scary, man. Those droids are scary, man.
Just staring at him for like 5 seconds. Yeah, with lifeless eyes. But then we get the scene that Marco was talking about, which is
she lied to him.
Cyril's and Deidre's main conflict, which Cyril shows up. He demands immediately to know what on earth is going on. Why is everything being locked down? Why is mining equipment here? You never told me that was there. What have you been using me for? What has our purpose been this whole time? Deidre cagey at first until Cyril literally tries to choke her out with both hands, mind you. And she finally gives up the fact that, it's direct orders from the Emperor to take Gorman. She says her reasoning is that Cyril enjoyed the promotions and enjoyed all that. Cyril's actions and his words say otherwise, that he was more about, like I said, he thought what he was doing was the just thing and the right thing for the Empire and the people of Gorman and everything else. He figures out here he's deeply used, deeply mistaken about everything, and deeply hurt by the fact that and it doesn't kill her. He walks away. He makes his way back out onto the square, hoping he can stop something from happening. But a very emotional scene here. I'll get everybody's take on it, but I absolutely think he was used and he felt used, and I don't think there's any other way to put it other than
I'm
that.
not saying he didn't. I'm saying she was too, because the one thing that you excluded from here for this episode and you didn't show was previous at the beginning of this episode. She didn't know for sure about the mining either. She actually got a hologram message.
He knows the mining. He told.
Hold on, Dom. She didn't know the effect of what was happening there. If you recall, she was even in shock and started to argue with her boss about it, saying, "Wait, we're just going to decimate all the people." And then they used that one officer, Peta or whatever, to come up there. And that's when she was like, "Oh shit, I have no choice. I'm in too far too." Yes, watch her reaction to it. She's in too deep, and that's why she uses, because it's a similar line to what her boss uses to him. pretty much
I feel like you haven't watched any of the episodes this season.
Yeah. I'll jump on that one. So she absolutely knows the reason why they're there on
100%.
No,
JJ's 100% right.
Told not to tell him. She was told not to tell him.
Let me finish.
Hold on.
Marco's
you guys don't let me finish. You guys talk over.
Wait. What Marco's seeing and explaining.
We just say wait whenever I'm trying to finish, and then everybody else just gets to talk over
I'm
it.
saying
and
wait
say
to
we're
everyone. I'm saying what you're witnessing is reluctance. She was against the idea from the very start when Krennic brought it up, but she knows what the purpose is. It's to get the minerals out, and she knows that they have to lead all the people. In fact, it was her idea to basically start a violent resistance, or at least make it look like a violent resistance.
Yeah, it was her idea to remove some of the people by using that, but not murdering people.
No, she knew it was all going to be dead. She knew that all from the very beginning.
No. She wanted them to be arrested and detained, yes.
But actually, there's
what I'm telling you is there definitely was. There definitely, if you watch her and even some of her reactions and how she reacts to stuff, she
doesn't like it. She's reluctant to do it. She didn't want to do it, but she did it anyways.
She's also mad.
But it doesn't mean she doesn't know about it.
She's also mad.
Well, no, what I'm saying is it wasn't her intention. I don't think that what I'm saying is I think she got too far into it, right? Yes, she did. Because if you just said she doesn't want to do it, but she's doing it anyway.
I didn't say that.
Oh, well, JJ said that.
But I think she doesn't want to do it, but she wants the result of it. She wants what she told Cyril in the last episode was she wants to be promoted. After she does this, everything will be great. They'll go back to Coruscant. They'll live together. She'll be promoted to Admiral.
That's her end goal. His end goal is not too far off from that, by the way.
I think his end goal, as he says in the scene, is the fact that he wanted order and justice, like what we've been saying.
But that's how he
didn't necessarily want promotions.
Hold on.
Remember,
because I wasn't done. What I'm saying is they both have this hero complex of what they see their perfect end life being. Sure, her end life hero complex is a relationship with Cyril, them having kids, the promotions. His is Order's going to lead him to being a hero. He's going to get his promotions. He's going to have the end life.
I don't. The problem is that I think his end goal was Deidre. That's all his end goal ever was.
What
he wanted Deidre.
No, because he didn't even know her in the beginning.
Remember season 1 where he's stalking her?
I think you're both right in a way.
I think that's how he fell in love with her.
And season 1, he's stalking her, and then he goes and tries to save her. All he cares about Deidre, but he loves her because she is all about order. So he's finally I've met somebody that cares so much about order.
She loves him too, dude.
The 1 hour.
I'm not saying she doesn't, but that's what his end goal. Her end goal is she has aspirations that he doesn't have.
Remember when he was in there on a briefing and he told her, "This is the greatest day of my life." When the when was his name was talking,
gas complimented him or whatever.
He got the compliment. He's getting recognized. The promotions, that stuff. That is definitely true. The promotions are true. This and that. But Deidre did lie to him.
I'm not saying she didn't
because she wasn't. They said not to tell him anything. So he really didn't know the extent of what was going to happen until that moment.
I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying. I think they're both delusional in their outcome. She would say stuff not thinking it, and then you see the moment of thought process of her actually seeing the actions, and she's like, "Shit!" But I didn't mean this, or like, "What? This is too far." Right? But I said she didn't know. I'm not saying she didn't know the plan. I'm saying she didn't actually. Because of her hero complex, she didn't know what actually was going to happen. She didn't think of people just getting murdered on the street.
I think what she's mad about is they deviated from her plan. They weren't supposed to bring the mining equipment down until after the genocide happened.
See, I just think that makes it reality.
My plan was we have this uprising, we kill everybody, and then we bring the thing in.
No, see, I think that was just. I think what it did is because what's that? That doesn't matter. I think that actually just legitimizes her fear of oh shit, this is actually happening. No, it's just my take on it.
It's harder to sell
because when she says you didn't mind the promotions, it wasn't in a moment of hey man, you didn't mind it. She was fighting back in an argument of where they're trying to shit on each other to outshit each other because they had passion for each other. It was a passionate shit back argument, not but
the point you're bringing to they deviated from her plan, and now her plan doesn't work.
That's not. She don't give a fuck.
Because now, you saw that later, when they're the Senate, they're like, why'd they bring in the mining equipment before they killed everybody?
Yeah. Well, also
it brought the outside people to like argue that it wasn't really about
the uprising. They took her control away. She's big on control, and they took it away by having Kaido there to basically run everything instead of her.
Yeah, agreed.
Well,
I think she was.
All right, well, we'll disagree on that.
About that.
All right, well done though. I mean, if we're having these type of discussions over this, either way, I think well done.
Yeah.
Except for why the hell didn't Andor shoot her? He had the shot.
Well, he had the shot.
We'll talk about that later.
But
we'll talk about it later.
You got the fact that Kaido gives the order for the snipers to basically kill their own guys. So sniper guy is in on it. He actually executes one of the guys. Then Sergeant Bly demands once one of their own soldiers is killed, thinks the crowd did it, and tells them to open fire. And then all hell breaks loose. I didn't capture very many images of the actual massacre, only because I want everybody to go watch this freaking episode of Andor.
Yeah, it is amazing.
But because you knew it was coming, how they.
But one thing I did want to bring up, to Deadly Venom's point earlier, I am absolutely super freaking glad this thing was filmed with practical effects and everything else.
Yeah,
there's no way they could have done this Gorman massacre scene filming this stuff in the volume or anything like that.
Yeah,
this is done with such cinematography and direction that it's
agreed
one of the best war, if you want to call it a war, scene in Star Wars I think I've ever seen. So
agreed.
The pacing, I think the pacing on this, just it was very sympathy or just like the old opera style, the old whenever a symphony style rise, pull back a little bit, aggression, wave flow, type of style where you see that like build down, build up, and then acceleration to a climax that, because you knew it was coming, right? We all knew it was coming, but
yeah. I mean, I've been to many of these types of protests before, and you're just like, this is the thing you worry about happening.
The song, they start singing the song.
Everybody's out there, and you're like, oh man, one thing goes wrong, it's all going down.
Quite literally.
Because nobody looks up. I'll tell you that for having a house as tall as mine, you'd be surprised. Nobody ever looks up.
I mean, if you've ever been to a big event or a big protest or anything, they do have snipers on the roofs.
They do.
Yeah, they usually don't open fire on people, but they do have snipers on the roofs.
They're there. Yeah.
This was such a sad, display on like in any Star Wars to see, how they came out, the galaxy's watching, singing this song of, that they were there, they weren't doing anything. They were just standing to what they believed in, and they were just peaceful people trying to live. And you come in here and try to take over and do it. And then from the first shot, and then the people getting shot, and the total chaos that after it was something that was I watched this and I was in shock, man, because I was like, this is something that you never see like in Star Wars. And in real life, things in Star Wars, you have your things, but the way it was done, that so sympathetic, man. The overall, it was one of the saddest moments, man. People just dying all around and the chaos going through. It was an episode that was one of the greatest cinematography. This is what cinema is about. That Tony, I'm going to keep praising Tony Gilroy for the way, and him and his brothers, the way this was shot.
Executive producer is Catherine Kennedy on this.
You get at me for egging him on, and you just do that with him. Come on, Marco.
I'm just saying that I sat there. And again, I freaking had tears. I was crying with this shit, man. Yeah. I was crying because
if they talk about budget at this point, I was like, you know what? I don't care if it costs $500 million. That was great.
Because this was such an amazing display, in Star Wars, and the way it was received, the way it was done, and how every character. I'm telling you, also the characters meant something. Like I feel for every character. I felt for the Gormans that were getting slaughtered, man.
Sure.
Yes, you have protests. I stay away from every freaking protest. Listen, I know people have their beliefs, but I will never get myself in that predicament to be in those things. I don't care. That's not my thing. This country can fall apart. I'm not going to be in a freaking goddamn protest. I don't give a shit.
To me, one of the crazier parts is we've gone through Star Wars this whole time, usually things involving the Empire and the Rebellion. And
good to know, Dom.
That's a really odd thing to add at the end there.
I know. I'm just
we're done. Move along. Let JJ go.
What I'm trying to say is we see the Empire's plans foiled a lot, right? Well, here the Empire's plans, as dastardly as it was, worked basically perfectly.
Yeah.
More or less, right? I mean, everything was essentially, the crowd did bring weapons, and once they opened fire, the crowd replied in kind, and there was large shootouts and everything. Like, so they very much, granted, there was mistakes made still, but they very much plan worked more or less. They got what they wanted, which was a stupid, violent resistance on Gorman that basically played right into their hands. So their false flag operations, whatever you call it. So
yeah, let me get this real quickly. I think it depends on how high. It depends. That's like the height you'd probably play if it was like near mint plus for that. So it depends. Depends on the condition. As far as this, yeah, I get what you're saying. That to the stick out thing, you're right. But what they're doing. If you watch cinematically the contrast that they were playing, right? So in the fortress thing that JJ kind of mentioned, what I think, yes, they were trying to trap him in, but that wasn't the fortress comment. The fortress comment was, we're building a fortress. And why do you build a fortress? Because you're expecting an attack, and then with the fortress you have a moat, and with a moat then you just kill everybody. And that, I think, what they were kind of doing there was showing this is our backup stuff. These are the guys doing it. They were using it cinematically so that it would be something of the shadows coming out and standing. So, yeah, no problem, Chico.
But then we get this scene. So you get Andor sees Deidre out on the balcony, tries to decide to take one last shot at her, lines it up, and who spots him but Cyril Karn, recognizes Andor instantly as the bane of his existence.
Yep.
And he tackles Cyril, and again, I didn't capture very many images because I want people to watch this episode
fight scene
as
was
much
awesome.
as possible.
Well, it's hard
but
to capture them too.
Have probably the longest knockout, drag out, hand to hand, like berserker type fight that you've seen in Star Wars in a long time.
It was so good.
Except for that bitch ain't fight with Andor like that. Please.
Yeah, that's true.
He was angry.
That's like Waysinger taking on Dom. She ain't happening.
He blamed Andor for everything.
That would have ended 2 seconds. He'd have been dreaming about Blue Bears.
Because he's just at a place where he's lost everything. So, happens.
Yeah.
No. For somebody who's been in a lot of them, that does not happen. I mean, I've fought crackheads, like people all coked up before. That shit.
Well, actually, Andor got the better.
Unless he's on coke, he could be on coke. I mean, he could.
Andor got the better of him, and then basically it blew up. Literally, a grenade went off next to him and blew them both up. And Cyril picked up the gun, lined it up to Andor. Looked like he was going to kill him, but had a second thought. So when Andor actually says to him, "I don't even know, like, who are you?" He literally said the episode title. Who are you?
Venom brought it up. That is such a good. Once again, a great line.
Oh, totally great.
Who the fuck you are, dude.
Yeah. I don't remember at all.
He turns around and he hesitates. And what happens?
Yeah. Well, I think they're both trembling. I think Cyril has that moment of realization that, like, he doesn't know who I am. What the hell is it? Like, why is my world crashing or revolving around this dude? And then I don't know if he was reflecting on that or if he was hesitating and didn't want to kill him because he kind of lowers the gun. But either which way, who shows up but Daddy Mayer, snipes him from the other side of the room with one shot, and goodbye, Cyril Karn, we hardly knew ye.
That was fucking awesome. That was a brilliant scene. A brilliant scene, man. Really. Brilliant scene.
Because of the blood? Man. Dom loves violence.
I love violence.
I mean, we saw this kind of coming. We knew that was going to happen. I guess I don't. But
I didn't think it would happen in that moment. No. Like, I expected Cyril to maybe die before this thing was over, but
I think the perfect part with the pause with Andor showed. I kind of laid the groundwork for this earlier, and then now I'm going to hit it. We've seen this whole development of Andor going. He's getting better. He's getting smarter. He's not getting caught. He's not running in head first and then going crap. And all of a sudden you see flash 30 seconds between his face. Wait a minute. Is this a setup from Luthen? Did Bix? Because he does it. He says, who are you? and then you see him try to think really quickly, and that actually is something he wasn't doing before. He would just go head first and shot the guy, which he probably should have done. But now you see him make a very rookie mistake when somebody points a gun at you, and not just shoot first. And it kind of lays the outlay for the rest, where it's like this Bix is a problem in his head, because what probably was going through his head was, shit, did Luthen just set me up?
I don't think that went through his head at all.
I don't know.
Wayseeker definitely went through his head.
I think it was more.
Wayseeker, you were talking about how you're gonna mess Dom up 2 minutes ago because you're passionate, bro.
I don't know that was going.
I don't think that was. I didn't get it anywhere from the story. I don't even know how you come up with that.
For sure.
I don't know. I don't see it at all.
Because you can never. Hey, Dom, tell him. That's why he paused. Because Andor would have, after the I don't even know who you are and everything else, to have Grandpa pop him off. There definitely was pause movements in there that Andor shouldn't have had, especially being on the road that much.
But
the scar shows you that he's the gun.
Cyril did.
Huh?
Andor didn't have a gun.
Didn't have the gun. Cyril did.
Yeah, but he just stopped. You don't stop.
What are you going to do? He's got a gun at you.
Listen, I think when he turned around and said,
I don't think you watched this episode.
Who are you? Cyril, for a second, saying, wait a minute. He doesn't know who I am. Because really, Andor did not see his face in season 1 when he had a gun to him.
Yeah, him saying he doesn't know who he is, I understand why that happens.
And I think it sidetracks Cyril for a minute. And I think, in my mind, yes, it could have been the Luthen thing that Andor was thinking.
But Andor's not doing anything after that.
But I also think that Cyril, that the hesitation, I think Cyril, for a hesitation for a second, started to think, going, wait a minute, this is going on. I think that I'm on the wrong side of this, because he was.
I agree with that.
I think he started to realize he was on the wrong side of the fight.
I agree.
And
I agree with that, but Andor also stopped. Like
I know
he had a gunshot. God, he didn't have a gun back. I don't understand why you're pausing.
What do you mean?
And I said after that he didn't get the second to breathe, and that's when he got shot. And I also think it shocked Andor too, because I think
it definitely shocked Andor.
But so I think that was Cyril's hesitation that I'm on the wrong side of the fight. That's when he started to.
Wayseeker, you 2 minutes ago said that he's completely wrong, and then you're
saying
he's right.
I never. But that's right. He's right. There's nothing to your theory.
Oh, Dom said it too. Dom said he paused also. I would agree. Wayseeker, you're the guy doing the death shrill and saying you're jumping on Dom and beating him up because
talk. He hasn't had a say for the wrong
side. He talked. I got him.
Oh man. So anyway, and no, I mean this is great. I don't understand where that Marco's coming from, but this was the highlight of.
Yeah, I no clue. I understand, and I appreciate that you don't understand where I'm coming from. That is actually the best compliment I've had all day long.
Why is it so? The same mindset so interesting you. When there's only 3 of us, these reviews go much smoother.
Yeah, when Wayseeker's not here. All right, go ahead. What else do we got? Oh shit!
Yeah,
this was the best.
We get. Both Will and Andor meet up and make it out of the square. Turns out what also makes it out of the square is one gigantic KX droid who immediately, by the way, the KX droid is introduced by literally throwing someone halfway across the city, more or less.
Well, the daughter, the father's daughter, he grabbed and fucking flung and killed her. That was crazy.
Yeah. He's basically a Jason Voorhees in a slasher movie, just going down towards Andor and Will. Andor and Will try to shoot him. No effect. It almost seems like you need a tank to stop him, and there's a tank to stop him.
Now, really quick, before we get any deeper in this is the one thing I might have had a little problem with. I did like the comic book. This, I wasn't sure where. All right, you're trying to get out of it.
This is way better than. Don't pull that bullshit. I know
what
video you watch. This is way better than comic book.
The way they did this, it was cool the way they did this. But the mindset of Andor at the time, he's running out of there. There's a Gorman master. He's going to grab the. Did he grab K2SO because they wanted to find out what made these things tick, or he grabbed them because? So it's kind of at that moment,
I think it's new weapon, right?
Yeah, they've been wanting one of these. It's true. When he got back, they've been searching for one of these droids to bring to their side.
Yeah, it's like a new weapon. That's what I'm saying. This is part of. I really think this is a lot better than the comic. I think they did a great job here because it explains why he takes him back. Because when you see this Cyril walk into that thing and you see those droids, and then they don't say anything, they don't do anything, and then as JJ put, the way you introduce it is he just backhand bitch slaps some dude into a fucking wall,
like 3 dudes,
and then you're like,
oh shit! Through that one dude, the barricade. He kicked the barricade. The freaking barricade.
Kick the barricade. And I think you see it right here because he was turned. The scene you didn't get this before. He was leaving. Then he turns and looks at him, and it's like something clicks. Like shit, we have the disabled weapon. We can try to figure out how to get this thing, how it ticks. Because the only way they figured out how to kill it, they were shooting rockets at everything, was they ran a truck into it. So they've never seen one of these go down before.
Great. So, Dom, I'm going to pick on you. Mostly. You know how lame it would be if your theory was right and they put B2 Emo in this killer thing?
Well, listen.
Like that was like by far the worst theory you've come up with.
We still don't know yet that
I told you to say this.
We'll find out next week. If it doesn't happen, I thought because
it's the rebellion is not going to let them put B2 Emo in this thing.
Let me ask you a question. Yeah, but how does it become a companion to Andor? How does it become
Dom, I was with you on the B2E2 thing for a little bit, saying like, maybe that wouldn't be so bad. But after they did this, if they do that, that's fucking. There's no way because it's terrible writing. There's no way they're gonna let that happen.
I think
there's no way.
How do you leave B2 Emo on the thing? Your last part of your mom, that's left there. And you
agree.
How do you drop the C word 3 times on a Star Wars show on Mother's Day? I don't know, but shit happens, bro.
But I think Marco's spot on. So one thing that they talked about, but you didn't actually see in one of those time skips from the last couple episodes, was they talked about Andor and Bix, like a lot of their assignments from Luthen was weapons recovery and weapons assessment, right?
Yeah.
Weapons assessment, yeah.
So therefore, he knows instantly how to assess what weapons they need and everything else. Sees a gigantic weapon laying on the ground they can reuse, figure out how it works, take it with them.
Yeah, I remember that part. I understand, but it was kind of
that's based off. Hold on, that's based off of World War II stuff too. Like you understand there. Yeah. I mean, like, there's a reason why they started taking different weapons and like the sand and everything like that. So, I mean, this is that once again. This, as you said earlier, this is like one of the best parts. Even Dom was saying is like they're using more of the reality of life in this and pulling it back out. So, Kaz likes to swipe new tech. The droid will look green.
Yeah, and that's what aliens do.
Yeah. Hey, you're right. He did. He swiped that TIE Avenger too.
Yeah. They swipe the tech and the weapons from the larger army they're rebelling against. That's how rebellions work.
That's just how that works. Yeah. All right. What else we got?
We're almost at the end of this one. We get one last scene with everybody. It's sad. The mayor guy. Did Mayor Guy live, or did he? You think he died?
I don't know if he
closed his eyes. I don't know if that
his
means
daughter died. His daughter was killed by
his daughter did die. Yeah,
I don't think he died. I think he's about to die.
I don't know. I mean, the one Will got off.
The Empire's gonna kill him.
Yeah.
Will got off with the girl at the end. Even after that, he might have left the planet.
Where's he gonna go? His whole life is on the planet. That's what I think it's showing. I think it was like my whole life's gone.
We're never gonna know.
Yeah. We probably won't know. I assume they're going to leave it wherever it is and just let the viewer decide for themselves, probably, type of thing. But we get Deidre having a panic attack, which, by the way, was not Darth Vader choking her.
I know.
But Deidre having a panic attack.
Thank you, JJ. I thought of that right away.
Having to unclip everything. And then...
why, did somebody say Vader chokes her out? Don't tell me
that was Dom's theory.
No, it wasn't.
When we saw the trailer.
Did you see it? Look like Vader was force choking.
She was getting force choked. But who the hell knows that Cyril choked him before?
No, it wasn't.
All right, you know what? You don't know.
She was having tremors and everything else. She was losing it for sure.
She was
did anybody else though have like serious sympathy for Mama Carr?
Yes, I was crying. I was bad. I was sad for her.
No, I had no sympathy for that woman.
Really?
None.
Oh man,
but no one talks about the fake propaganda they were talking about, that they were making the Empire.
She was a horrible mother.
She did that to that kid. I don't feel bad for her.
But she's
I think you should. I'll be honest with you. I think I'm not gonna say why I think you should do it on Mother's Day because it's Mother's Day, but no, that she should.
I still
no longer exists.
What's wrong with you people that you have sympathy for this person? You're not supposed
I feel bad. I have empathy for his mom, because I think every mom, yes, even your mom is tough on you, this and that. I still think the fact
there are horrible mothers that you should not
She was
a horrible mother, but you know what? She had a way of growing up. You know, the fact is that
no. That's why you should never be a parent, right there. No,
hey, shut up. Listen, take it.
Hey, Wayseeker, too far. Wayseeker, too far. Too far. You can't think that's a Wayseeker. Low blow. Apologize. That.
I agree with Dom. I felt sorry.
No, but here's the deal. I will tell you this. I think you both are unfortunately incorrect about this. She manipulated him. She was doing stuff for herself. You do not feel sympathy for the abuser, and she was 100% an abuser. I will stand on.
All right, but you know what?
But she still loved her son, though.
She lost a son, and she knew.
Did she?
Did she? If she loved it, it was a horrible form of love that's needs to get.
Yeah, that's like no offense, and I'm not going to say this because I just don't want to get into the technical stuff.
No,
that's like somebody who beats their dog and says, "But I love my dog."
She wasn't perfect, but she loved him. She loved. Let me tell you something. Okay,
I don't. No, that's not love. I don't know what it is, but I ain't love.
Look, at the end
that's
of the
like,
day,
hey, don't make me hit you again. Like,
listen, first of all, how the Empire was feeding false freaking lies out there with the fake propaganda to make the freaking goddamn Empire seem like the victims. Bullshit. That's what's really going on in real life too here.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. Cyril's her droid, and she hates droids. Like that's what it was. She was very. I think y'all. Anybody who just defended her detail, bro. I'm just going to tell you that.
I'm not defending her.
No shot. No shot. I'm going to talk to one of my kids the way this person does. No shot.
No.
None. And if I do, I'm a piece of shit parent.
I think we've only still got one whole episode to do, so I'm moving on.
And listen, Andor crying. This was sad.
Yeah, Andor gets the single tear as the radio broadcast goes out from Will's new girlfriend. Everyone got slaughtered on Gorman.
You need help? Anybody listening to this?
Anybody listening? Please help them. And then Andor's driving away, making his escapes.
I hope they shoot that lady in her stupid face.
This is Cripple Wizard
and might still happen
as one of the greatest pieces of cinema.
I'll go first. Apparently, go ahead.
And that they put out. This was a cinema. This is what Star Wars dreams come true on this thing. This was the most awesome Star Wars ever. Better than anything that Disney Plus has put out. I don't give a shit.
Hold on.
I don't care.
You're just
Dom is complimenting Star Wars. Don't stop him.
Look, this thing. Look, I do praise Kathleen Kennedy for the job that she had, and Tony Gilroy. And you know what? The sad thing is, because of budget restraints, they couldn't do the friggin' K2 friggin' horror movie friggin' thing.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
On the show. But the whole fact is that it's cool. This made me feel. I freaking cried. I had, this is what I love about Star Wars. And I'm like,
how many times has Dom cried?
I'm kind of dude, I cried.
I'll tell you, that's why I got sunburned, dehydration.
I just want to chalk up the score. Dom thinks it's Wizard, obviously, right, Dom? Mm-hmm. And also, Dom thinks Kathleen Kennedy is Wizard.
Yeah, he did say that. He thinks Kathleen Kennedy's Wizard.
Listen, I had to say that.
It's Wizard. This is good. There's a lot of great stuff they did. I think they got back to some of the. I'm not saying this is the best Star Wars ever because this ain't no way this is better than Hope, fucking Empire, and Jedi. But this it is good. It's good.
Better than Empire and Jedi. I said everything that's better than Disney.
You said it was the best Star Wars ever.
Hold on, guys. Plus, this is why it's taking so long. But I will say, like, they did a lot of great things, and they brought a lot of great things in here, and just cinematically, period. I mean, even like Venom brought up all the black. Yeah, the contrast that they used with the sniper was brilliant in that sympathy of like the flows of what they were doing. It was just great. So, yeah, yes. Of course, Wizard. Yeah.
I did not say
I don't have that power for Deathly Venom to move stuff around on the screen.
Hey, you can say ESB. I like the Return. I don't give a fuck who you are.
No, fuck the Return of the Jedi. The Empire Strikes Back.
Fuck you.
No, fuck that. The Empire. You and your fucking bears. Get out
of here. Go ahead. Wayseeker, go ahead.
No, I'm gonna go next because I got a question for Wayseeker before I kick it to him. Okay. I thought it was Wizard. I agree with Dom that this is probably the best. This is by far the best Star Wars episode I think I've seen on Disney Plus in my mind. Possibly the best thing I've seen on Disney Plus at all. Not including stuff that, as far as Disney Plus original content, I'll put it that way. And it probably was the best thing I've seen streaming in quite some freaking time, to be honest. This, like the cinematography, direction, everything. By the way, shout out to the guy we haven't mentioned yet, that directed Giannis Metz directed I think all 3 of these episodes. So
I'll forget his name right after you say
to give some props, to give that man some direction work in Star Wars, hopefully. But yeah, Wizard all the way. I'll kick it over to Wayseeker with one question. Wayseeker, you said, I think at some point, I can't remember if it was in our first review or maybe before the season started, that if you give it excellent props, if there was a better episode than One Way Out, do you think this was a better episode at One Way Out?
No Way Out.
No Way Out, sorry.
Whoa,
no, it's One Way Out. It's One Way Out. Anyways, doesn't matter.
No Way Out's a wrestling event.
I think they're equal. I think this is equal to peak season 1. I don't think it's better than that episode. I don't think it's worse.
I don't Born Again.
But like that was just as emotional at the end. So I felt just as much like I love Star Wars in this episode as that ways. I would say they're equal. They're equal. They're both Wizard, but I would not say this is better than that episode, personally.
I thought 9 was pretty good. I don't think it's better than Daredevil Born Again, not even close. But
I think it is.
No, I would say, do you think Daredevil Born Again is better than this or close? I don't think it's close.
No, this is way better than Daredevil.
I think this is way better than Daredevil.
Yeah, I don't think it's close. What I'm saying is I don't think it's close. I think it's way better.
I get you now.
Yeah, that wasn't close.
I thought you were saying Daredevil was better.
It's two different things. When it comes to shows, so you can't put Daredevil with Star Wars. Yes, Daredevil was awesome. Was one of the most.
I can compare their cinematography and direction and everything else, though.
Yes, I can.
This was way better.
All right, so we all got Wizard. Next up, because we still got a fucking novel review. Let's go.
I'm gonna try to go faster than this. That one took longer because of the whole Gorman thing and talking about it. So this one will go faster, I promise. But this was nonetheless actually a very excellent episode.
This was man.
So we get Welcome to the Rebellion. So now we've gone from Gorman, we've ended up in the Senate. This is all the aftermath of Gorman that's gone on. The news has hit. The Empire is throwing out every propaganda trick in the book to convince people that the Gorman resistance is responsible for it and they're terrorists and everything else. Mon and Bail meet up to determine that they have to do something. The point has come for them to speak out once and for all. Bail says that they both can't do it. It's got to be Mon, and Bail's got to stay behind, which is a good point. So we got more fake Bail Organa and Jimmy Smits. I actually think, Benjamin Bratt. I actually think Benjamin Bratt should be Bail Organa now going forward after this scene. This episode.
He's very good.
You guys, Benjamin Bratt was better than Jimmy Smits was.
I don't care.
You don't care either way.
I thought it was good.
But I mean,
we flash.
But this is why they introduced him last time in that cameo, so that you wouldn't be freaking out about it when you saw it in this episode when they needed you to be used to this fail.
Smart idea.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Took 20-30 seconds to do that, and then established it for this. So. We moved to Andor. Is back in Luthen's office or base or whatever you want to call it. Basically saying like after this he's done, he's out, not going to do any more. Clea basically says, you say that, but nobody believes it. But we're going to send you on one more mission. He doesn't quite know what it is yet. He's going to take some convincing. Then we get the night before Mon is set to give her speech. We get a lot of talking between characters. A lot of exposition in this episode, but it was really good. You get Luthen talking to Mon, revealing that Erskine, I think is his name, who has been Mon's assistant for the past year, has actually been an undercover operative for Luthen. Mon is angry at that fact that she found that out, that she wasn't told. Actually kicks Erskine out, after he swept for bugs and stuff. But the conversation between Luthen and Mon was super interesting in that I think Luthen in some ways wishes he had Mon's role, just because it would unburden him from a lot of the stuff he's taken on. And then you end up with we get introduced to, I don't even know what his name was, the ISB Patsy guy that is in charge of keeping tabs on the Senate. They're having problems since Mon and Erskine destroyed their bug. And we get what I thought was an interesting conversation then the next morning of Luthen convincing Andor to take on the job to rescue Mon from the Senate after her speech. Luthen and Andor, you guys can weigh in on this too if you want. Have a finished conversation in that at one point, Luthen is trying to argue that Andor should not be taken seriously. Andor is still kind of resisting and talking his way out. But there's a very interesting point of why should I rescue Mon Mothma? Why is this important? And Luthen actually convinces him that it is important and that, they've burned all these bridges to get to this point. I think this had to have happened, whether it was Gorman, whether it was something else. This was going to happen, and basically Andor still reluctantly agrees to take on the job of rescuing Mon.
So, as the king of there's too many words in DC Comics, I will tell you that expose sometimes has to work very well. I've not liked Momothra through most of the TV show. I think she's been annoying and stupid, and I could care less. This actually made me care about the character. I got nervous during parts of the show. I do like this type of stuff. I mean, maybe that's why I like history more than most people. But like this gives answers in very coherent, like in a small period of time, very quickly explained very in-depth things and made stuff to make sense. The stuff where Bail Organa, that was clean and quick. The stuff with Mon Mothma, that was clean and quick. The assistant, clean and quick. And if we haven't got to it, I wish you would have gone the whole way because I want to explain why. But even the Luthen thing, I know. But even the Luthen thing here, I know. I just wish we would have got to we would just go through this before you pause it. But even the Luthen thing gets you. You see where they're setting you up so that you hate Luthen and you want him dead too. So, I think it's smart. That's all I'm going to say. And
really, I kind of felt for Luthen. Like I felt better about Luthen in this because he's basically saying like even Andor seems a little bit worried about him at one point. They're basically saying, "Why aren't you going to Yavin? Like, what's going to happen to you?" You know. And Luthen explains to him, "We burned all the bridges," and he's like, "Well, your bridge hasn't been burned yet." And Luthen's like, "I'm going to take care of that soon."
And he did in this episode. Yeah. He burned that last bridge in this episode.
Yeah. So,
let me tell you, this is just so much to talk about. Just love this, man.
Yeah. Let me finish real quick. I'll try to go through it as fast as I can. I promise. So we get Luthen has also deduced that Bail's plan to have these 3 people that he hired escort him out. One of them or more of them is going to be a bug. I don't think anybody was super surprised.
He made it happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
he didn't deduce.
Wasn't she an ISB agent, wasn't she?
She's an ISB agent.
Yeah. You know who her boss was, right?
I assumed it was Pendergast or something. I don't know. I didn't check.
Jung. It was the mole, the plant.
Oh,
what's
Lonnie?
his name? That's what he said. It was Lonnie. Lonnie's her boss. So Lonnie put her there.
Who she was contacting or whatever.
No. Lonnie put her there on purpose. He burned the bridge by saying, Lonnie, we need to get Mon Mothma back by my way. So we are going to put one of your people in place. And they did that simply by just giving his last name. But it was Lonnie's her boss.
Gotcha. Well, I don't think anybody was surprised that it was the resting bitch face lady that was the agent. She very much looks like the part of the other.
Isn't that what's her name from Walking Dead? It looks like what's her name from Walking Dead?
It looks like Laura Cohan. I don't think that's her. But I get what you're going for. Mon gives her speech. Andor shows up just in the nick of time to help escort her out. You're going through a Rubin reporters. This scene is great where she pulls the gun on him, and then Erskine basically distracts her, and Andor just quick draws her right in the head.
Just her face alone, because she knew about it, but never was close to it to see all this stuff happening. So,
but how quick was that line? She's a rebel. Like that was smart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Erskine deserves a MVP nod too for this episode. He did a lot and didn't get a lot of credit, but we get Mon and Andor escape. We get an interesting interaction between they end up back at Luthen's safe house at night. Mon has to go on. Andor can't escort her to Yavin because they want her to give a speech on the ship to all these, I guess, rebel important people and broadcast it and everything else. So Andor reluctantly agrees. But you have a very good line between the two of them where Mon says basically she's not quite sure how to thank Andor for getting her out of there alive, and Andor just says, make sure it's worth it.
I like that. And I like what she
Go ahead, Go ahead.
No, I like when he turns around and tells her before she leaves, welcome to the rebellion. I like that. I like the fact that, Bail Organa told her, tear the shit out of this place. I like when he used the shit word. You shouldn't Star Wars.
The S word in Star Wars?
Yeah, I really love the fact.
This episode.
I really love the fact that
I'll never understand why that fucking gives Dom a boner.
And he killed her driver, the driver that he was waiting, he killed the driver, and she was like shocked because she knew him all this time.
Do you see? Hey, can I ask a question, Dom? Yeah. When they say shit, are you like an 8-year-old that never heard a swear word before? Go, oh!
Well, wait, I'll set the table for Dom on that one. On the fact that there was again stupid controversy in online Star Wars that, oh my god, I can't believe they used the shit word in Star Wars.
They used shit in the beginning, the first episode when he was in the TIE Fighter Avenger. Shit.
Okay.
And he hit.
It doesn't
matter.
Every time
I don't understand why we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
Anyway,
can I tell you one thing real quickly that I thought was amazing that you kind of skipped over? What's his name? What's your driver's name? Like that little bit right. No, yeah, but that was fucking brilliant, dude.
It was.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I get that, but like some of the stuff they did here, there's a little bit of the Organa speech that was just brilliant. There was, yeah, we got the major parts, but there's all this brilliant stuff. He's a rebel. What's your driver's name? Because we don't actually, and how we forgot about this we started off with it with the dad, right? But we didn't say this. They leave it open for you to understand. Because remember, we saw the gun on the seat, but we did not see the driver take the gun. And we saw doubt, just like we saw doubt. And I know you guys don't think Deidre had doubt. Well, just like I saw doubt in Deidre, just like I saw doubt in Bix, just like I saw doubt in Andor, just like I saw doubt. They're giving these guys human aspects that are not movie related. And that is something about Star Wars that hasn't happened in a while. People have doubts, especially in time of war, and you're seeing that in each one of them. Now, they might be doing it because they have hero complexes or because they want promotions but not everybody just does dumb shit and then's like, yeah, I just do it because I like to fuck around and find out. There's a lot of people out there who are like, shit, I didn't expect this to happen. And I think you even see that with her driver. And that's when I kind of feel sympathetic before, because in my mind, and you guys can have a different opinion on it, I think he left the gun on the seat. I think he went to go find her to help her to get her out of there, right? And he might not have.
They leaned that way. So some of the communication leaned that way, in that he was anxious for information. He wanted to know what the hell's going on.
Dude, he was working for the Empire, man. Come on.
He was, but he also was Mon Mothma's driver for 2 years or whatever. So he has a relationship with her.
I know, but
he could have had second thoughts.
So.
I don't know when they have him with the gun.
The way Andor dusted him without taking any chances.
You could be right either way. That's the point.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, they were giving a lot, but that's where I like it. They let you kind of, like, you guys argued about you guys aren't going to see eye to me with the what's her name thing, Deirdre thing. But I think it also shows where people's lives go, right? Like, if you know people or have seen these situations before, then it's like choose your own adventure. You're going to determine the outcome or why a person made the decision they did. And if you haven't, you're going to go the other way and choose the different. It's brilliant. Wizard. I'm done going through these damn slides without saying wizard. So wizard.
I want to give one last thing, which is Bix decides to leave Andor. And probably the sad part of this episode, Bix decides that Andor, as long as she's with Andor, Andor will always choose her over the rebellion. So she chooses for him instead. And in the dark of night, decides to leave him. He tries to catch the ship in the morning, can't catch it. On his way, while he's on the landing pad, they're bringing in the KX unit to fire up for the first time that they fired up. And you get good old familiar Alan Tudyk voice as K2 is born.
Really, really quick, this part was it was sad. It was sad that that she left him, but she knew what his mission was and what he's meant to do. And it was sad that he went running to try to catch her. It's that tears in his eyes, and then it goes right into this where they go, Captain Cassian, we got the K2 asteroid, and before he can even wipe his eyes for crying, he went right into that, which I think that's awesome, man. The way the emotions, like one emotion, and then all of a sudden you go right into another emotion. You go into emotion of sadness, and then go into fear, like these freaking robots are crazy. These droids are crazy. We don't know what to expect, type of thing, and how it ended.
I think this. I think this.
For the weapon, like, what's the weapon going to do? You shot it like 16 times.
I know.
Before at point blank range. What's the gun?
I think this shows the perfect. What I just brings up the perfect point. Like the Bix leaving, I expect that. It was like, okay, cool. That's generic. That's exactly what
I
you
expect her to be sidelined somehow. I didn't
and that's where Dom saw that as something great. But then, like the K2SO thing, I was like, just how. I guess cinematically how they shot that. The pauses once again in that was like, fuck. Wizard. Anybody else?
It was Wizard.
To address this, there is a guy that explains the I guess the brain functions, if you want to call it that, of the K2 thing works. It got all too Star Wars technical for me to get into it, but like he was dabbling with emotional centers and other stuff. So I don't know, but they kind of explained that.
But also too, yeah, the guy there that was rebooting said the thing's gonna say stuff like rebooting phase and may communicate. Don't worry about that. That's just standard. He says it in the TV show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know.
I think Lonnie burned himself in this episode because Lonnie was that person's boss that sent it that way. And I think Luthen realized that he had to burn Lonnie to save Mon Mothma, but I also think he realized that if he burns Lonnie, he's going down. Like Lonnie's going to turn on him if that happens. So I think Luthen made the decision like I have to burn myself to save Mon Mothma. I thought that was really cool for this person who is so in on the cause, who knew when the day would come that there was something that would be worth it. And
see, I think that he's a direct reflection of Cyril and the direct reflection of all of them. They're like they have this great hero complex in their head, and then when the decision comes, he doesn't want to fucking burn himself. But there's no other choice.
He did,
but there's no other choice. It was the same way with Deidre. It was the same way with Cyril. I didn't want to let all these innocent people do with Cyril. Oh shit, but I did. I mean, I don't know. I thought it was great.
Can I say something really quick?
Go ahead. Go.
I give this wizard like the other two episodes. The sad part is that Bix said, we'll meet again when it's all over. And meanwhile, Cassian dies on the beach and on the beach with Jay, and you don't know Jay yourself.
She knows the likelihood of them ever meeting.
I know, but we don't know if Bix dies because she went to another part of the rebellion. We don't know that's why he wound up just giving up because he had nothing left. So that's sad. But what is it? Let me ask you a question. Say at the end of the episode, right? The end of the 3-part episode, we get a little like end credit scene where Bix has a kid and she goes to the statue where Andor has a statue that freaking shows. And it's like, dude, that sounds. I would cry, man. That something like that.
Don't cry anymore. You can't. You ain't got no more.
No, you don't need that.
This is real man talk.
This is the point. This is the point of where Tony keeps things open ended. We don't need it.
We don't.
As you said, and I'm telling you, after the third episode, next week, the episode 3 comes out. I am watching Rogue One,
and you can cry like you're watching.
You know what? I don't care. All I know is, but it's just sad because in my heart, it's sad that he's never going to see Bix again, and Bix is never going to see him again. And that's sad because he sacrificed himself to make Luke the hero. The freaking guy did destroy the Death Star.
I'll say this much: it's Wizard for me. I'll give it a total score of all 3 episodes together of 9.5 out of 10. In my opinion, this 9th episode in particular was probably people always want to like. Oh, politics and Star Wars as far as actual political talk, not like politics, like social politics, but like actual political talk in Star Wars gets boring. It only gets boring when George Lucas is writing like about trade federations and blockades. This is how you write politics in Star Wars. You had almost a whole episode take place in the Senate of the Galactic Empire. This is how you write politics in Star Wars. The Senate.
You're not wrong.
All right. Ready? Let's go. We got book review.
We got book review.
Jesus.
Yep.
All right.
Anyway, do we want to say anything about before next week what we think is going to happen?
No, I don't want to hear no nonsense. I just want
everybody's going to die except freaking guy did except Andor.
Is Andor going to find his sister?
Actually, say if Bix finds his sister. Say if Bix finds his sister. If Bix finds his sister.
I think Andor's going to find his sister in these episodes.
I think you may be right about that. See,
maybe, and then he winds up dying in freaking goddamn Rogue One, and never gets a chance. And
we know he dies in Rogue One. We've all seen Rogue One.
So, I know.
I mean,
I'm just saying.
He has no. I think he's going to find her as maybe part of the rebellion in some way, and maybe that's why
she's part of the Empire.
Maybe he's trying to save her from the Empire in some regard. But my point is, I think that's why he keeps in the fight, so to speak. Because at this point, he's lost almost everything, right?
Yeah.
There's no point for him to keep in the fight. I think him finding his sister will be that reason.
But I'm saying, but why would he kill himself? Sacrifice himself. He sacrificed himself for his sister. But if he finds his sister, that's a reason to live. He found his sister after so long. So that's what
I think if something happens to his sister. I don't know, Dom.
He dies, and Bits die. I think everybody's gonna die, and he has nothing left to live for. That's why he stays on the beach.
I think they leave a lot of deaths open-ended. So.
I'll tell you who I think his sister is after the show's over. But we don't need to do it again.
Rebellious chick that the Will's banging. Jesus. Really?
Will dies next episode too.
Yeah, Broad's dying.
All right, we good?
Yep.
Good.
Okay.
All right.
No,
Marcos,
see you later.
what do you think is the best book of all time? It's not letting me.
I didn't say
Frozen.
That. Well, it's definitely one of the better High Republic books. What?
I think my. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, why is it like a vampire? Look like Dracula.
Yeah, I think I'm freezing.
No, you're not.
All right?
You're fine. You're fine. It's just
slow. The slides are slow. They were slow for me too. You're all right.
All right. Into the Light. This is Claudia Gray. First book in a long time, right? She didn't write anything
it's been a while.
Season 2. It's been a long time. We all love Claudia Gray. Like, to me, the best Star Wars novel that's ever come out is the two pilots that fall in love. Lost Stars.
Lost Stars.
Like she wrote
Lost Stars.
Lost Stars.
That's good.
She wrote Leia stuff. She
lost Bloodline. She read Bloodline too. Yeah, Bloodline was great.
Master and Apprentice.
Yeah, Master and Apprentice.
So much good stuff.
Do we have? Did you
this
do
will
like
feature
80
a lot of
slides
the
on this
characters.
nonsense? Are we really doing a book
No.
report on this? Could I just tell why?
No, but there's the characters we go over. If you've the only book you really need to read for this one, you need to read Into the Dark before you need to read Into the Light, because that's her book, and this is supposed to be bookend Into the Dark, Into the Light. So I would say you need to read Into the Dark before you read Into the Light. But the characters here, you got Reith, you got Comac, you got Aslan Rel. We went over before. Reith is the main character of the book. He's the one that's in charge of everything. You got the crew, Geode and Leox and Affy, and Geode is now Groot. We'll talk about that later. That was
he is Geode.
Something that Geode is just Groot.
So they Grooted Geo. Yeah,
they just completely did it. You got Amadeo and Buryaga. They sidelined Burry and what's his name, who were always together, Bell, and put them on different places to kind of split things up a little bit. You got Dez coming back. If you remember Dez from Into the Dark, he was one of the main characters. Really good friend of Reith. I don't know why that's the only picture I can find of him, because there's an awful picture of Dez, but that's the only picture there is. He takes the Barash vow after Into the Dark, and so he's been sidelined until now. You got Avon, you got my favorite playing a part in this book, and you got another one of Claudia's.
She was the worst in this book, mind you. The biggest waste of a character.
Not.
I thought she was going to be Reith's love interest.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I thank God they didn't do that. Thank God.
And then you got Nan. Nan was going to be Reith's love interest, I thought.
That's what I'm talking about, Nan, yeah.
Yeah, Nan.
Yeah.
Nan's a Nihil, high up there with Martian, but meets with Reith, if you remember, on the station where the Drengir happened. For the bads in this book, you get Dr. Macampa. You get the Drengir led by the Great Progenitor, who are being controlled by Macampa, and you also get the Blight on Kashyyyk, and that's why they all come.
You also get Martian and Rowe in this book.
He's not really in the book, other than like a couple scenes, but yeah.
It's very important. Yes, it is. He's very important in this book because everything she does is important. Wayseeker. She's very pointed with Rowe in this book. It made a lot of sense.
Okay.
All right, go ahead. Keep going.
You can explain all that you want when you get to the questions. You got the storylines. The first 200 pages were beyond boring. They had no points. The first 200 pages.
What?
The last it'd be on boring. It was like paint dry. There was like nothing happened before they even got to Kashi. JJ's gonna agree with you on this one.
Yes. Hey, I'm sorry that they didn't have. Hold on, time out. I'm sorry they didn't have teen love affairs where people are fighting.
Starts where they're on some other planet, saving people from the blight,
fighting
in a grandmaster.
No. They had the whole thing where they explained the planetary thing and how the blight could break
70 pages on this other planet that just dies. From
oh
the
my
blight.
God, Wayseeker, you're terrible. Okay, I figured this out. All Wayseeker wants is teen romance novels that make no sense. I don't want that. All he wants is Fabio coming in with no shirt on and some girl and then making out later on a beach. Oh yeah, my mom. Wayseeker dreams himself being the bad boy. And
Marco,
some girl
let me go on.
My mom doesn't like bad boys. He just loves romantic teen crap. Go ahead.
Yeah. The last 150 pages of this book was great. The first 200 pages of this book was beyond boring.
What? About 60% of it was boring.
You said you were going to go on. You didn't go on.
But the last 150 pages, these are the main storylines. You get Macampa. She's controlling the Dren gear, and we get to learn how she controls the Dren gear and how that parts into the dark. You get Nan, who has this grudge against Macampa, and that's why she joins the Jedi, because she wants to take down Macampa.
Oh, hey, hold on real quickly. I just have this bookmark before the last 150 pages, actually, only in the first 177. I like to explain something here. This is something that Gray does way better than your friend Ireland and everything else. She starts to explain points on how people act, including our boy Eslin here. When she starts to discuss, they talk about dinner, but she starts to talk about the smile, and I just wanted to highlight some points here where she displays that he has 3 different types of smile. And when he's having this flashback, which ties in to the Wookiees, the planet, and where the seed ends up coming later down the line, that he actually has a moment of realization that his smile is different and it's foreign to him because he's been in such a dark place. And it's not the one he fakes. It's not the other one. And then, as we mentioned, the Nan part comes out here, and she starts doing this little thing where she does a little bit of floating back and forth with Real, and then you realize that she's not actually flirting with her, and she doesn't get into a manic
you're not helping your cause
area,
here at all.
and she doesn't get into a manic area where she wants to make out.
I've ever heard of my life.
It sounds boring.
I don't know, dude. I think it was well better writing because when you see Azil,
I don't think the writing was bad. It was just boring.
In two sentences, she gives us more in-depth explaining to Azil and his past than anybody's done before.
You thought that description.
She does the same thing with Nan in that chapter. Hold on. She does the same thing with Nan. She had to take 20 to 30 characters that, God, some of them just, who cares? She killed off Geode, which was great.
Spoilers.
She didn't kill off Geode, unfortunately.
She killed him off there. Huh?
She grooted Geode.
She did groot him, but whatever. She killed him off. She ended up explaining a lot of characters. She didn't make Nan fall in love. They actually got it so that you hated the bad guys. It made clear sense how you took care of the seed. Then she incorporated the whole religious praying thing into it. This book was a home run. She did a great job doing it, and God bless her, because as you said, she hasn't written a bunch of the other stuff, which is pure trash in between. So keep talking about whatever you want, but I read this book 100 times over, and I'll tell you this, I'm not reading that next Ireland book, because you want to talk about 200 and 300 pages of trash. I thumbed through that already. The whole thing's garbage. The whole thing. You can't find a good page in that fucking book. So don't come here when you're doing a little bit of pre-lex, because the previous authors have completely fucked up this
on track here.
You get off track. No, hold on. If you get to get off track, I get off track too.
I didn't get off track. I just called it boring.
Yes, you're doing your stupid opinions that make no sense here. Yeah. You've had authors for a year and a half write stuff in between her book that has been complete garbage and waste of fucking physical paper. And now you get somebody who has to tie it in 150 pages before she can do the last 200 pages, and you choose to call those pages garbage and boring. Well, sir, unfortunately, you're a moron. Thank you very much. Please continue.
Harsh. Wow. Dom and I are going to grab a cup of coffee.
I think JJ's on my side on this one. I
don't think anybody's on your side ever.
We definitely didn't need 70 pages about them evacuating a planet from the blight and a Grandmaster dying. which is what we got at the beginning of it.
We did. Well, she killed somebody off, which JJ said they never did. So let's start killing people off. She killed people off.
We killed off the we killed off somebody on the council who they always kill off. Who we don't care about. We didn't get killed off anybody that we actually cared about. But we got the Thorn Seed. The Thorn Seed is really one of the more interesting parts of the book. The Thorn Seed is this dark side.
Which is what she explained in the first fucking 100 pages. Well, the first 50
No,
pages.
it wasn't in the first 100 pages at all.
Yes, it was. On the moon. Yes, it was. She explained it. Did you read this book, Wayseeker? You didn't read the book. You just read the last 100 pages. We figured this out. Books. Hey, look, Cliff's Notes. We figured it out. You don't actually read the whole book.
I'm going to go on Google right now and figure out where Thorn Seed is, and it's going to not be anywhere near that.
Keep going. What are you doing?
Tom's muted us.
I'm going to Google Books to figure out where Thorn Seed appears in the book because you're so wrong.
They give the concept of Thorn Seed in the beginning when they plant it. They actually say it there. The Blight Star, they didn't even know it. It's exactly what they're talking about. They don't call it Thorn Seed. That's how you lead it up in a story. This is what you're doing? So you're wrong. I figured what you do. So what you do is just type words in that you saw on Wikipedia into Google Books and then try to export those parts out. Excellent. I understand now, Waysinger. Now your shit makes sense. You've exposed yourself.
I think Marco was waiting a whole 3 hours.
I don't even know what. Yeah,
you have exposed yourself. I get why you do these stupid book reports now, because all you do is you go into Google word searches and you try the AI to spit out some crap.
Marco, enough. I actually love these books. I read the books. Books are the only thing I care about for Star Wars. So don't say I don't love the books. I love reading.
I don't know if you read the first part of the book because all they do is give you the setup. That whole planet situation was to explain the setup for the seed. You understand that, right?
No, I didn't understand that.
You forgot about. Okay, well, that's what it was. Then
I don't agree. But then you also get.
Well, you can not agree and be wrong.
You get the Thorn Seeds, which is this dark side artifact that can turn a whole planet to the dark side. And you got the other thing we find out that the Wookiees. We knew there were the Worcester trees, but there.
Well, the Thorn Seed also starts to blight out. So the Thorn
Seed. These white Worcester trees are so deeply in tune to the light side of the Force that they're able to counterbalance and keep the Thorn Seed from actually corrupting Kashi.
Keep the White Walkers away.
But the blight is coming for the Thorn Seed because the blight's attracted to the dark side. We knew this for a long time because that's why it's hitting the dark side of the temple in Coruscant. So the blight's coming for that. If it takes out the white Worcester trees, then the whole planet's going to turn completely to the dark. So that's basically what we got there.
Kind of.
Yeah. What?
Well, kind of. The trees were actually fighting the blight back so that the seed wouldn't take over. It doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Maybe you should first 50 pages. We figured it out.
Gosh. Anyway, overall, the book was good. I thought I could have done without the first 200 pages, but the last 150 pages were like some of the best.
You didn't do without it because you misunderstood the concept of what you just talked about.
Last 250 pages were some of the best Star Wars writing we've gotten in a long time. We got a lot of great relationship stuff. I agree with that. But we also got a lot of the dark side, light side, Force stuff that I really love so much with Star Wars. She did a great job explaining hard concepts about the Force. Super easy to work. If you hadn't picked up Star Wars books, you'd be able to understand what a Thorn Seed is or what's going on with these white Worcester trees.
Did they kill Dez? I don't remember.
What?
No, I said couldn't they at least kill Dez?
Oh. They could have killed Dez. They could have killed a lot of people here, to be honest.
They didn't. And I'll be honest, they didn't have
Jedi down some.
The Geo thing was stupid too.
No, but so I don't think they're actually grooting Geode. I think what it is a nod. I knew you were going to say that, but I think it's a nod because she has told us she's doing a book that predates it. And I think what it is, if you read how that line goes, knowing that she's going to do something special on a special character predating this High Republic stuff, I think it's just a lead in that she's just reminding you that she's going to do a Geode book, like Geode.
That's fine, but we didn't have to bring Geode back at the very end from the little baby.
They didn't bring it back. He's not back. They don't know for sure it's back.
He's back. You know he's back.
Well, JJ's right. Nobody ever does. I don't know why you're getting so big on it. I think she's just using that as a little Easter egg to tell you she's got a book coming out about.
Who will be a rock and be a womanizer at the same time?
One of the other parts about the book that I just didn't care about is I understand that Nan is one of her characters, but Nan has been such a non-factor in the High Republic that I just didn't, because it's been so long.
Hold on.
I didn't care about Nan's redemption.
Hold on. You can say that about Non, but then you can't in the same breath say anything positive about Avion.
Avon's been the main character all throughout.
It's a terrible. She's not a main character. She's not a main character. She's an NPC. She really is an NPC through the whole thing, including here. She's an NPC.
She's going to be one of the keys to solving the blight.
NPC.
You might not like it. You might have bad writing.
She wasn't a key because they already figured out most of how to do it.
Oh,
they didn't. It only works on the one planet.
Isn't that part of the problem with the High Republic, the way it's gone, as far as is the fact that like you have all these characters, and instead of whittling this cast of characters down one way, and it doesn't always have to be somebody dying, but in some way whittling the cast of characters down, you have cast of characters now developing arcs, and even new characters develop. Like,
I agree with you.
Rein it in a little bit.
Well, but here,
let's Non and Avon are in the same boat as far as that goes. Like, I mean,
I agree.
Rein it in and bring some of these character arcs to a close.
That's kind of why I say, like, if you're
the fact that it does not even need a character arc. Like, probably not.
That's what I was saying. If you're saying that about Non, you have to say about that's how I started. You have to say about Avon. But dude, listen. If Avon's
also saying about 90% of the people in the High Republic at this point.
But I agree with JJ that they need to kill off a lot more people. Completely agree with that.
Avion Saros is one of them. They should have killed her off. No point. They shouldn't even brought her in, to be honest with you. But I think that's part of the hard work too. Like, you want to bring in your original characters also. I will tell you this, that this is kind of why I said it was one of the best books. It's not one of her best books of all time, but what she did here, and for phase 3, it is probably the best book in phase 3. What she did was hard. She had a lot of different characters she had to work out. She worked them out. They made sense. There wasn't a lot of fat to cut off. You can say you didn't like the first 100 pages. From understanding what you said, we'll disagree. I think you missed some things in there, and we are not going to spend 2 hours going over it and me highlighting notes in it, you looking up on Google word searches for them. But I will tell you missed some stuff there that probably led into the C thing. And probably, maybe if you went back and read, especially the first 25 to 30 pages, you'd be like, oh shit, now I see what they were saying. Yeah. Okay. Number 2, Nam's Redemption. Nam is what it is.
But I think the Thorn Seed was all partly put in this book to explain the Acolyte. I really believe that. I think the Thorn Seed is what happened on that planet with the emergence, and that planet going to the dark, and why the problem was put there. Again,
because that's why I was saying about the book. There's a lot of stuff that she had to do to explain other stuff up, and she did the best.
Yeah, I agree, and I think, again, when she started writing this book, they probably thought Acolyte was going to get a season 2 or could get a season 2, because she probably wrote this thing a year and a half ago, started writing it. And they probably gave her some notes about what they wanted included. But I think this is how they were trying to explain that planet in the Acolyte, personally. So
yeah, I don't think it makes it any better.
I'm not disagreeing with you there. The one big thing of this book, to JJ's point, I wish they would kill off some light side characters, but the pieces are coming off the board for the dark side.
Yeah, I think that's where you saw it with Ro at the end, which you didn't apparently appreciate.
Everybody's leaving Ro. For one reason or the other.
As it said in the book, he had a bad day.
Macampa's gone. She's off the board. The Drengir ultimately get off the board forever. Hopefully, don't know. Non's off the board.
Better be.
Staros is coming off the board because Staros is following her daughter. That was, that's the point of Avon right now. Is Avon needs to convince Mom to leave. So the only people that Marcion got left is Marcion and Vice, and then his assistant person.
Yeah.
So he, who has surrounded himself by people and supporters, this book took a lot of them off the board for him. One of the weird parts about this book was these trees somehow solved the Drengir problem and made the Drengir go to the light. I kind of understood it. I kind of thought it was a kind of lame way of dealing with something
like plot
that I didn't
armor.
care about. What?
Said it sounds like plot armor.
Hold on. So here's what they did. Here's what she did. She referred to it as magic, but if you take it under a religious context, it was kind of like miracles were occurring and people who didn't believe in that type of project were calling it magic. I understand. Look, it's tough. Somebody put Drengir there. They're fucking a terrible character. She got rid of them. Yeah, she did it in a
I
way.
still don't understand how the drink gear even work. Like, first off, how do they get from planet to planet?
Go ask Kevin Scott. Well, they explain that kind of. It goes in ships, and it's kind of like
they did explain that.
Yeah,
I get like the spores on the ship thing, but aren't they controlled by the progenitor? Like the progenitor itself is not on those planets, so how's it a hive mind? I don't know.
But Macampa was able to control the Dren gear. That was what we learned in there. She had an ability to control the Dren gear and make them go wherever she wanted them to go. So she was controlling the great progenitor. And
also at the end we learned too that there was a whole team that was planting seed, presumably, this is what they kind of told us, was planting seeds and monitoring them when nobody, way before the time of thought, so they had already known that was going to be a transport station for the drain gear and everything else. But once again, just a terrible character they should have let die. Yeah. Hard job to get rid of him. She did a good job doing it.
But yeah, ultimately, JJ, these trees somehow communicate to the Dren gear and show them that you don't need to eat meat. You can just enjoy the ground and enjoy the goodness of creation. And so the Dren gear plant themselves as trees permanently, and now we're just part of the forest.
Yeah, she just has to get rid of them. All right, the other half here, I think Sol is just doing this. It's a trap thing. That's his way to kill off all these Jedi he left, right? That's what he's going to do. It's so stupid.
I think that's right.
That's so stupid.
So
it's going to be like the Sith mind bomb. It's so stupid.
Half of the we're getting lured. We know that half of the Jedi went to Kashyyyk, half of the Jedi went to capture Marchion, but we also know that's a trap. So Sol's going to pick up on this trap, and I think a lot of them are going to die. To JJ's point, or at least they should die.
I think that half is going to die because they think that's
a horrible way to do it, though. Like, if you
really
character stick around this long, but yeah, it's such a lazy.
No, it is. It's so dumb.
To do it.
Yeah. All right, what do we got next? I think it's stupid.
All right, that's about all we got.
That's it. That's all we're going to talk about. That's all your questions.
That's my questions. You have other?
Those are the lamest questions I ever heard. Yeah, let's go back.
Oh, come on.
All right.
Okay, we'll
talk about 2 minutes. It's only 2 minutes. That sigh.
Here's a good thing. Did you like
Star Wars?
Hold on. The only thing I'm going to ask you is, and apparently you missed it in the first half, so you probably won't. Did you like what she did with Thornseed?
Yes.
I think what she did with Thornseed was probably one of the best things we've seen done in. Well, for sure it was Phase 3, but like I think if she had more projects in Phase 3 would have been a lot better.
I liked what she did with Thornseed, other than how Thornseed got destroyed.
With the Groot thing? Or with Groot?
With Geo rolling into a ball and it making it explode?
No, he didn't roll into a ball. He made himself into like lava fire, like a meteor.
Whatever. That was kind of lame.
Really? Because I thought it was great that she was willing to do that with her own character. Because
only to bring him back.
No,
that's
where we differ. I don't think she brought him back. I think she's giving you a nod that she's going to write a book. She is going to write a book about him, but it's going to be a prequel book.
Maybe you're right, but I still think she brought him back because at the end, everybody was like, "Oh yeah." She kept saying they can bring themselves back from even the smallest sliver, and then one of the small slivers like glows. So like,
no, it didn't glow. It sheds skin.
Whatever. Like it did something.
Did you read the book?
It's 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago.
Go read it.
The book's been out for 2 months now. Yeah, before Celebration. Came out like 3 weeks before that.
Anyways,
yeah, I think the Thornseed was more and what we also learned, JJ, about the Thornseed, is that the same Sith that tried to trap the Dren gear are the Sith that created the Thornseed.
Sweet.
So you could see the same pictures of those Sith, and so whatever that.
I mean, like I said, I just think I guess
there's time travel in the next Soul book where they like go back and meet the Sith. I'm gonna be disappointed.
But I'm just saying, if you did this, if you would have given us some of this stuff spread out earlier, if she did multiple books in this, I think it would have worked better for Phase 3. It probably saved the High Republic. So
and just
fair enough. I like it. Great book. Best book of Phase 3.
So we got
not a high bar, but still.
Next book up. I'm the only one reading this one because
wait. Hey, Wayseeker. Yes, best book of Phase 3.
Yes.
Not a high bar, but yes. Okay.
It's not a high bar. So,
nobody cares about Tap Tap.
I'll probably review this one real quick next week because I'm the only one reading that one.
Hey, let me ask you a question. What worse possibility in Phase 3 that could you have than a character named Tap Tap and Justine Ireland writing a book?
I like Tap Tap. My kid loves
as
Tap
you
Tap.
would.
My kid loves Tap Tap.
Nobody loves Tap Tap. Why do you lie?
My kid loves Tap Tap. So we're reading that book together.
Melonfield.
But let me just say, the first 100 pages aren't good. So that's the spoiler for next week.
Spoiler alert!
Spoiler
that's
alert
why you tried to pull that shit with Grace, because you know that this book's garbage. So you
no. Like I said, it's the best book. This book is not good so far. Again, I have 150 pages left to read. Maybe it gets better, but so far it ain't good.
Why did Ezra Mann on this cover age 50 years?
I don't know. And then next month in June, on June 17th, we get the final book of Phase 3. The end the High Republic, for the books at least, is Charles Soule's Trials of the Jedi.
You're not going to read that garbage Ireland Acolyte book?
We'll review that one too, but that's not in the High Republic.
I don't think it's tied to High Republic. Well, not directly at least.
It's not High Republic Phase 3. It's not closing out that.
So bad.
I haven't started it yet because I want to finish Valiant Vow.
Bad.
I do hear that the Acolyte book will spoil a little bit of Trials of the Jedi. So if you don't want to know who potentially lives and dies in Trials of the Jedi, do not read the Acolyte book, because some characters...
I got a better idea. Don't read the Acolyte book at all. It's a waste of money. It's
some
$30 for terrible.
Some characters appear in the Acolyte book that are in the High Republic. So if you don't want to know who lives and dies, you're going to find out at least some people who lived.
There's like 5.
You're trying to say...
I'm just saying there's going to be some people that live 100 years later in a book, so you know they're not going to die in Trials of the Jedi.
Well, we know one of them for sure because she's in the show.
I know that one, but there's others that are in the book.
I will tell you, there's no characters you're going to care about.
What?
So how are all these human beings?
I don't know how.
I don't know. And by the way, they're all characters you don't care about.
But so next week, I will review A Valiant Vow by myself, because Barnes & Noble didn't even carry it for some reason.
So we can all have a break.
And then a couple weeks from now, me and JJ are going to read the Acolyte book, because Marco refuses to read it.
I'm not spending another $1 on anything that has Ireland's name on it. I'm done.
It's her last book.
$30. Good. Should be.
Also,
should be probably more than that. Should be. Sorry,
it's the audio thing. I think in like 2 weeks, the script for Tempest Breaker comes out. If you want to physically read that,
it's out actually. I believe.
Is it out now?
Yeah.
I was wrong.
That one, but Valiant Vow audiobook is out. Acolyte audiobook is out. This one audiobook came really late.
Tell me how you were in High Republic without telling me. Just show you Justine Ireland's name. There you go.
Anyway, we know Justine Ireland is finished with Star Wars after these 2 books. So, yep. And
it happens soon enough.
That's our quick review.
Quick review. Jeez.
I thought it was good. I really do. I think the book was good. I think you underestimated, and your I don't know what your stick is with the first 200 pages, but I do think
he said it was good.
No, yeah, but he said the first.
Did you read it all, JJ?
You can't say
no.
Hold on. You can't say a book's good. You can't say a book's good and then say, except for the first 2/3 of the book sucked.
Yes, I can, because the last 40% was that good.
I don't.
And we're also talking about a low bar. We're also talking about a low bar here, right? I said
there's like 350 pages in the book, dude.
I said it was best of Phase 3, and Phase 3 has been a colossal.
That's the same explanation I get every time I talk about Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones. Well, the last 20 minutes are really good. Like, doesn't mean it's necessarily a good movie. Like,
all right, damn it, we're way past. All right, we'll see you guys all later. We got to get going. We're not even gonna give you a promo out, promo in. We'll see you all later. Bye.